Northwest Indiana. How is everyone doing today? This is Region Rundown. Myself, Bob, coming in shortly, and with what do they call it? Likes to make a fashionably late, old-fashionably late Brent. He'll be joining us here shortly. I got Joe over there working the knobs, but that just sounded really weird. So we won't.
Well, I kind of was, because you said you were on you said you were on mic 1 and you were on mic 2.
Oh, yeah. I moved them around. Anyways, good morning, everyone. This is Region Rundown. You are listening here on WJOB 1230 AM, 104.7 FM, and you're watching on the YouTubes. Give us a call at some point today, 219-845-1100. If you don't call in, you're stuck listening to us. So give us a call, talk about all sorts of things that are going on. We've got a ton of news today, from local news with the BP refinery lockout, national news, international news, gas prices, stock market, economy, and the world is chaos, but it's beautiful outside. Take a quick look at traffic. And y'all know I hate doing traffic. And I only hate doing traffic because I'm still unaware of all of the names, all the colloquial names. So I'm going to say things like 294 and 80, and y'all are used to, Bishop Ford and the merger. I still don't know any of those. But the beautiful thing about me doing traffic right now is everything is in the green. Everything's good. There is a little bit of a hang-up at 90 East heading into the city. But I'll be honest with you, every single time I look at any map anywhere, that's always red. So your traffic right now is looking good going into the city. Everywhere in Northwest Indiana is fine, from 80-94, 65, 30-41, 231. Everything's looking good. And Joe, I think you have some good news with the weather today.
Yes, I actually do, which is rare. So on today, March the 20th, it's going to be a high of 65 and a low of 35 with just a little bit of cloudiness, but the real feel is going to be mid-60s as well, so it's going to be a really nice day. Saturday as well, we're going to keep the streak going with a high of 69 and a low of 52. Sun's going to be out, and we're going to have a real feel of 68. That is exciting. I think I might go outside that day, actually. And then Sunday, to round out the weekend, it'll be a high 55 and a low 32. You're going to have some winds, but it'll still be in the 50s, so how could you complain?
I am sure we will find somebody willing to complain. So we're here. We're streaming live on the YouTubes. We got the comments up. If you've got something to say it there. But really, give us a call, 219-845-1100. I want to save some of the good talk for when Brent gets here. Because we really do have some, the biggest story in the region right now is the BP refinery lockout. Eric Schultz, the president of the union up there, is an acquaintance of mine. We used to serve together on the Dyertown Council. He moved out of district, and so that's when we stopped serving together. We worked together for a number of years to really bring, we brought in our first full-time fire chief in Dyer, really a solid guy, stand-up dude, and I shared a brief text with him the other day. I told him, I said, come on the radio, and I want you to tell your story. And as you can imagine, everything that he has going on right now, he said, look, maybe next week I really just need to find my feeding, get my feet out from under me, because that's where they've been knocked. And so I don't know, Eric, if you're listening, we're with you, buddy. You can't see it here, but we slapped a support sign up for you guys. I don't know, you get these massive corporations. I think the number is just shy or just over 800 union workers locked out of BP refinery. BP is saying that the refinery is still running, that the lockout was to avoid a sudden strike and to maintain safety. The union during negotiations. Come on in, Brent.
Will, good morning. This is new.
Right? You haven't been here yet?
No, not.
Brent hasn't been here yet.
Last time I was here, you were putting the finishing touches on.
Well, I don't know that it's finished yet, but we're getting there.
It's a work in progress.
It is. And now we're on. Those are brand new for you. Just put them on. But now you can wear your cowboy hat.
You know, I was wondering. I was thinking about that on the way over here. Let me get these in. Hello? Yeah. Oh, wow. It worked right off the bat.
That's something new we're
That's
trying
the first
here at
time
WJOB.
in 10 years of coming to this radio station that I've put the headphones on, and they were immediately
They
working.
work.
That's major progress.
What can I say? I'm pretty good at my job.
Yeah, thank you, Joe. I appreciate that. I'm going to lower this. You got to adjust the mic,
Just
right?
make sure, you're talking into it and, not leaning back.
Yeah,
too much.
one of the things that we have to do, and we'll get back to the
The next upgrade is like the old school overhead ones, like
That would be
where
pretty
they're
sick.
just hanging there. We'll get back to the biggest news here in a second, but Brent, one of the things that we are constantly now working with the various hosts is before with the microphones, you could kind of wander around and rock back and forth, and it's so the microphone I use traditionally is a Shure microphone, and it is so nice because it
A Shure?
a Shure.
Yeah, that's a very high quality microphone.
Well, I'm a high quality voice sometimes. Joe's over there laughing. What I like about it is you can be pretty much anywhere in the room and it'll pick you up. These guys, you have to.
Is that a unidirectional mic?
Yes, it is. Omnidirectional.
Omnidirectional.
10 points for that. Oh, speaking of big words today, I don't want to disappoint anyone. But I will say Liam is very excited. It is the day before spring break, and so there is no spelling test today.
Wow.
Typically on Friday is about 7.
Today
10.
is the first day of spring.
It is.
It is the first day of spring, and it felt like it yesterday.
I'm able to. So I'm a fat guy, so anything over 40, I'm comfortable in. But I'm able to wear short sleeve shirts now. It's fantastic.
So, where are you going on spring break, Bob? Can I wait, Joe? We should come up with a way, and you may have told me, but I don't remember.
Okay.
Joe, where do you think Bob is going for spring break?
He already told me.
Okay.
Yeah.
He already told me. So
The worst kept secret in the world. Where are you going, Bob?
I'm going to Disney.
I knew it.
Well, we just go all the time. So Liam's bringing a couple friends from school, and
You got to remind me. I have a really good friend, big Disney fan, just like
Right.
yourself, and he retired a couple years ago from the Milwaukee PD,
okay,
and he is a
Right,
Disney
he does-
police officer. Yeah,
he
And
does that.
He
down
was
there. I remember you saying that.
It's funny, and I wish I'm going to probably send him a clip of this. But Mitch was he ran the Fusion Center, which was this joint
Right.
task force, anti-terrorism. He taught. Had all these different certifications. I actually took a tour of the Pentagon with him one time with some guys that he knew from some sort of threat
Collaboration.
detection
Yeah.
workshop that he did. And so he goes down there, he retires, he goes down there and applies, and he loved Disney. That's where they vacation
Yeah.
all the time. Anyway, but he's like, I want to be a police officer. And they hired him, and they're like, you're really qualified. We'd love for you to work they're going to promote him up. He was going to be in an office, and he was like, no. I want to be out on the ground. Like, he loves
all I
being
want
on
to
the
do
thing.
is patrol Main Street.
Yeah,
that's all I want
that's
to do.
literally. He was like, no, nothing fancy for me. I want to be out in the crowds enjoying it. He loves it.
Now, one thing that I get often is, okay, Bob, you're Captain Republican in the area. People say, how can you go to Disney? Their politics are awful. They do this and that. And you know what? I tell you, when you're
Who
walking
cares?
down Main Street with a Mickey-shaped snack, hey, we're having a good time. Like I said, Liam's bringing a couple of friends, and there is nothing more fun. So we've got 10 of us going. 7 adults, 3 kids, and we need the 7 adults to watch the 3 kids, because if you've ever let a bunch of 10-year-olds just run wild in Disney and do whatever they want.
So you have a little better than a 2-to-1 ratio.
A little better.
So
Just-
like if one parent has to go to the restroom or something, you have to switch to zone immediately.
Yeah, there is.
to zone.
Yeah. There's
You'll
Get the
learn,
three,
Joe,
get the
when you
3-2 going. Make sure you get the 3-pointer.
Get a 3-2. Yeah, we're going down Main Street in diamond formation. Yeah. So no, that's that's what we've got going on next week. It is probably the worst kept secret.
I mean, that must be pretty exciting, though. So I'm an only child, so anytime anyone ever asks me what it's like being an only child, I always respond with, "Have you ever been to Disney with just your parents?" Because it's
that's a good one.
Yeah, and we did that for a long time, but then as last year was the first time we started taking some friends along because you get 9, 10 years old,
you want to have someone
there. You want to have someone to pal around with, and everything's still fun. But if you've got a friend that can go on the roller coasters with you or do the rides,
exactly.
that's even more fun.
I mean, I would love to go with my dad and go do the roller coasters and stuff like that. But I mean, he has 2 shoulder surgeries and 2 knee surgeries, so he's not getting on any of those small carts. And then my mom is absolutely terrified of roller coasters, so it was kind of like just on me to do it by myself. So it just didn't make it's definitely more enjoyable to have friends with you.
We did so last year we did the VIP tour. Joe, you'll understand this soon when you have kids. Well, maybe not soon, but when you have kids. Brent, you'll understand this. We did the VIP tour. And you can go on and off the rides. They take you in and out the back, and it's a lot of fun. Pretty bougie. We spent some. This year the kids are asking, "Do we get to cut in line again?" And I'm thinking, and so here I am. It's like, how am I raising rich kids? And I'm not rich. How is that possible? And I think, Brett, you have to understand that feeling. It's he just thinks this is flight number 31 for him. I think it's like how am I? And that's the line that I'm going to start using is how am I raising a rich kid when I'm not rich?
I'll tell you, I can make a similar comparison. I've been lucky enough to fly on a friend's plane a few times.
Okay,
and we went on a really nice vacation with a friend that has a plane. And my wife and I were going somewhere recently, and I think it was last year we went to California to Los Angeles for a birthday, and we didn't have a direct flight, and we were in could be worse places, but we were in Vegas for the layover, and the flight got delayed and all this stuff, and she was like, if we just flew private, this wouldn't be a problem. And I was like, one time and you're spoiled forever.
One time,
so, one time you get to skip the lines at Disney. And
we did. So when we did that, we were able to do the 4-park challenge. And so because they you don't wait in line.
People are changing the dial as we speak.
Oh, I know, right? Yeah, they're like, we're done with this.
So tell me the 4-part challenge.
So the 4-park challenge truly is. You go to each of the 4 parks in Disney World, so it's Magic Kingdom, Epcot, Hollywood Studios, and Animal Kingdom, and you get you ride a ride at each, and you take a picture like it Animal Kingdom in front of the Tree of Life, or Epcot in front of Spaceship Earth, and we did that. But the only way we could do that is we had a tour guide that would pop us out the back employee entrance,
high speed moving throughout.
So we would hop in this 15-passenger van. We drive behind the ride. We get out, go to the employee side, do the ride, get back in. It was totally wild. And so this was
so did you shell out for that one this time?
No, my gosh, that was.
Wait, you're gonna deal with the fallout.
Oh,
Dad, what are these lines?
What is this? But before us, so again, this is not us. This is not a normal thing. We go often, but this was a. I'll be honest with you. What happened was this was I think the first trip we took after my mom had passed. We were all just wallowing in misery, and we said, you know what. Heck, we're going to do it.
If you're spending the money and it's making a memory for you and your family and everybody has a good time, what could be?
But what was so funny about it is right before us, the tour guide said, it was a tour guide or something. The crowd before us was Scott Baio. And what was funny about that, my wife kept saying, "Are we Scott Baio level now?
Hurry it up there."
Yeah, hurry up. Hey, Chachi. But yeah, she goes, "Are we Scott Baio level now?" I was like, "Really?" For the next 7 hours.
You're like, I'd like to feel like I'm above Scott Baio level all the time at this point.
I am Regent Scott Baio.
Does that make me the Fonz?
Yes. I am WJOB Scott Baio.
I saw when you're talking about this 4-part challenge. I feel like I read something on social media. There was people doing a drinking challenge. Do you know about this? Like Joe, are you familiar with this?
He's familiar with drinking challenges.
I'm not. When we get off the air, I need the Wi-Fi password, but I was going to Google it. I read a lot of Apple news every day, so that's how I get most of my news. And then, aside from the normal articles, they throw in this. They feed you this stuff, and I was like, Disney drinking challenge, and Disney was kind of upset about it. But it become
the around the world,
around the world, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So I thought you go in every bar in the Epcot, and you have one drink in every nation, but it's like, 15, 16 beers by the time you're done.
By the time you're done.
All these people are posting their pictures, and Disney was like, this is not really what we're going for here.
Yeah.
I thought you were referring to, because speaking of drinking challenge, I did accidentally call you this weekend.
Were you drinking when you did that?
Yeah. And I
wasn't
forgot.
That late though.
No, but I forgot who I was trying to call, and then I was like, I looked at my phone. I was like, oh shoot.
And I texted you right back. I'm like, dude, I'm right in the middle of the kitchen.
He's like, I'm in the kitchen.
Yeah, look, can I call you back in a little bit? He's like, no, it's an accident. I was like, no worries.
He was halfway around the world.
Yeah.
So yeah, that I have heard of that. This is I'm going to mess it up, like the food and garden show, or the food and flower show, food and wine show, whatever it is at Epcot right now. So they've got he's got the password for you.
Okay. Gee.
Don't flash that on camera. That'll really mess up the James Bond operation we've got going on here at WJOB.
The Chinese hackers are coming.
Chinese hackers right now
for Jed.
Yep. Got some Iranian drone. Who shouldn't even say that now? That's a thought.
We text. We've got a lot to talk about.
We've got a lot to talk about here, and my guess is the folks listening are wondering when we're actually going to start talking about that stuff. I did see, just as you're logging on there, and we're speaking of drones, I want to talk about some of the local stories first that are really just impacting everyone. Is somewhere on the eastern seaboard there has been, for like 10 nights in a row, drones. They don't know where they're coming from. They're not flagged or anything, and especially after the drone footage we saw of the Iranian drones going over into the U.S. base and just getting right up to the barracks. Seemingly nothing was done, wasn't known. Who knows? I don't really have a fear of too many things, but man, the drones, they can just release swarms up there. It can be all AI based. Everyone has a target, and what are you going to do?
Well, because they're so much less expensive than a missile,
they're talking.
They're able
like
to mass,
$3,000,
but they're able to make vast amounts of them, and that's what they really fear in the future of any war, is that, like, you're not gonna, we've developed everything in the Iron Dome in Israel.
The Iron
it's
Dome,
great until they launch 700 of these things at the same time.
Right.
And there's literally no way to keep up.
There's some swarm of them, and you've got 1,000 of these guys flying at you. We have spent, I don't know, if Chuck were here, he'd probably say trillions. But either way, we've spent all this money on being able to knock out the one lone ICBM that's coming over here.
And that's not going to be the
problem.
problem.
To find out, that's not the issue. It's the 1,000 of these drones that maybe cost $3,500 to make, and
it's a tough thing. I mean, it's there's all. What was it? There was reports earlier in the week or late last week. They were warning California. They had threatened.
Yes,
I don't know what the range on one. I mean,
that's the thought, is that Iran, and honestly, it is so tough to watch some of these news conferences and know whether or not they are being truthful. And I don't mean necessarily that they're being deceptive on purpose, but perhaps it's part of the show. Like, hey, we have to say this because we want Iran to think this, but in the end, the citizenry isn't getting accurate information. They come out and they're saying, look, there's no way that they can hit us. I would be concerned if I was Hawaii or Alaska.
But I mean, that's the other thing is the size. I've seen one of a video, and I believe it was Iran, but basically they had like an 18-wheeler with a cargo container on back. The sides of the cargo container drop down, and there's like 4 of these drones because it shoots off with a little rocket to launch it, and then the motor kicks in, and in a 40-foot shipping container, there was 3 of these things, and they're on a launcher, and they sides came on, and it's like some James Bond stuff. But you're like, well, if you think about the size of shipping containers, right, and if you had one bad actor, they could launch hundreds of those, and I don't think the range on those things.
That's what that was. Ukraine did that. Ukraine,
I think
Ukraine had hundreds of these drones. That could be tens, whatever it was, but they had numerous drones that they just kind of rolled in on a semi-trailer, somewhat innocuous when you're looking at traffic, and then sides fall down and these things shoot out, and they just kamikaze into something, and
that's it.
So, well, that's
on a brighter spring morning.
On a brighter spring,
the imminent drone wave off the West Coast.
That drone thing.
So what do you got? We got going on local. I know the biggest story for me that I'm aware of locally right now is the BP lockout.
BP.
I know. I spoke with Eric Schultz, who's the president out there.
Yeah,
he told me he's like, because
I've been telling him, I was like, man, you gotta come on. And he was saying,
he told me, he said, he was like, I gotta call Bob. I said, well, I'm going to be on with him tomorrow. I was like, would you like to call in? He said, Bob's already talked to me. He's like, I owe him a call. That's why he's catching it. I think we were on the same list of people going down.
Yeah.
Said, let us get our legs under it.
Yeah.
And get
I cannot imagine the stress that he's under, which is not to say, these 800 some odd folks, they're locked out. Not everyone is. I mean, these are local families. They're neighbors to all of us, and they're being locked out by some far-flung, corporate master somewhere. And this is a tough one, just on the surface. If I didn't know anyone here, I'd say, look, I like to think I'm a pretty pro-business guy. I really do. But when you look at some of the facts of what BP is attempting to do, I just don't buy that everything simply isn't profit-driven, which is goofy to say.
100% the case.
Because, I mean, that's the point of businesses and corporations. You go in to make money, but there has to be some tipping point on the XY axis to say, look, every single time at the end of every single week, you see how all of these oil companies are making record profits, not record revenues, not record profits.
And that's what BP is. So it's really hard to stomach.
And so when they're looking at, hey, we want to cut 100 plus positions, wage reductions, I think they want to cut some of their healthcare expenses. It's like,
how about rewarding them for record profit?
Yeah, I mean, isn't there some type of profit sharing that goes on? And I don't mean even just the simplistic profit sharing, meaning I make a profit so I pay you. If it weren't for these guys, there is no record profits, and so I just wonder what their thoughts are with that. I do have to say that I know these guys are picketing outside, and I think the good Lord is blessing them with some fantastic weather. But I know if it was 10 degrees outside, they'd be out there with their heaters. And
you got to look at from an outside perspective, like you said, it certainly seems like they're getting a raw deal. And then you look at our current environment where gas prices are up 20%, 25% over the last, and they make more when it's more
They
expensive.
do.
Right? I mean, like,
they do.
you
It's
know,
one of the few industries where when something goes wrong, they do better. When things are good, they do well. So we're going to take a break here. It is 6:27 in the region. Here you are listening to WJOB 1230 AM 104.7 FM. Watching on the YouTubes. We'll take a quick break and play some ads. And I like watching Joe. He's waiting to press buttons, but I keep talking. All right, we're
just
going
cut
on
him
break.
off, Joe.
Just cut him off.
Tech Credit Union supports the essential role of union labor in building strong communities. That's why we offer hassle-free banking, financial empowerment, and a commitment to your success. Save for the future, handle life's challenges, and trust a partner that stands by hardworking union members. Tech Credit Union, the better option for you and your money. Visit techcu.org or call 800-276-8324. Tech Credit Union, supporting union families every step of the way.
Summer's coming, and Deep River Water Park is taking applications for all positions. We have jobs both inside and out for all ages that offer great benefits. Free admission on your day off for you and a friend. Free uniforms, paid training, make new friends, flexible scheduling, and more. To apply, just go to deepriverwaterpark.com and you're on your way to a summer of rewarding fun.
Deep River Water Park. It's simply splash-tastic.
Plumbers Local 210 is building the future, and we're looking for service plumbers to join our team. Our training center invests nearly $500,000 every year to make sure our members are the best in the industry. From a 5-year apprenticeship and an associate degree at Ivy Tech to ongoing certifications in safety and new technology, our plumbers are trained for excellence. Every member is drug tested and licensed for your safety and peace of mind. When you need plumbing work done, make sure you ask for the license. It's your right to ask.
Introducing Powers Health, a health system with a new name and a strong legacy of caring for families in our community. One with a tradition of advanced specialized services and a vision for the future. One with a commitment to medical excellence and compassionate care. Everything we do, everything we believe, Powers Health.
Welcome back to Region Rundown with Bob and Brent today. Adriana's off doing something, I don't know.
Spring breaking or something, isn't
Spring
she?
breaking, whatever the kids are doing these days with their, I don't know, loud music and I don't know.
Jeez, Bob, can you sound any older this morning?
I know, right? It is 6:31 in the region. You are listening to WJB 1230 AM 104.7 FM, streaming live on the YouTubes where I am catching up on the chats. Give us a call at 219-845-1100 because, like the banner says, if you don't call, you got to listen to us talk. So we're taking your calls today. It can be Open Line Friday, I suppose.
Yeah.
Which
Well,
is
there's
good.
lots to talk about. I mean, there's
There
a lot
is.
going on in the world. Obviously, I mean, I was a little late this morning, but we were
A little late, 6:07, Brent.
Well, it was.
If you're going to be
I
hopping
closed,
on
I
here
closed
on
the
Fridays
restaurant
with me,
I had a long day yesterday, and we were there because of the game. So it's March
Oh,
Madness.
yeah.
I'm a casual basketball fan. You know, I really only follow Auburn throughout the year until it gets down. The NCAA tournament's one of my favorite sporting events of the year.
Speaking of madness, let's take a look at traffic.
Beautiful segue.
They are never going to let us do this show again. Everything in Northwest Indiana, to which I truly care about, is green on the roadways. 8094, I-65, no accidents. If you see something, again, give us a call. Throw something in the chat. Let us know if something's going on. I will say, I've been waiting to say this. The merger, wherever that is in Chicago, over there at 94 and 57 as you're going into the city, does look like it's slowing up a little bit. 55 and 290 going into the city, slowing down just a little bit. But again, for those of you that are traveling to Chicago, you understand what happens between 6:30 and 8 o'clock. It starts gumming up on 90, 290, and 55, but nothing out of the ordinary to report.
A lot
on
of
that.
people probably skipping work today to watch basketball.
Skipping work to watch. It's the first day of spring. It's friggin' beautiful outside. Even this morning, I left the house at 4:45 because I'm prepared. Brent, this is preparation.
Where do you live? In South Bend? It's 4:45?
Yeah, I made this. I made this new graphic. Bob and Brent.
Oh wow, you got my name on there right away.
I'm good.
How long did you spend on that, Bob? How many prompts was it? 2 or 3?
Let's check on weather. There is a data center somewhere in Indiana that's just...
You're running up our electrical bills. That's actually really good. I was just the detail there. You got the city in the background.
I drew all of that.
South Shore Line. Big news on the South Shore Line. There's a station opening, right?
Maybe. No,
Are you guys cutting a ribbon or anything? I thought they announced it was going to start running January into the month, right? 20.
Let's do weather real quick, and then I'll tell you what's going on with the South Shore.
Okay, so we're having some trouble with the phone lines right now. It keeps going in and out. So if you're the two people that keep calling in that keep getting terminated, I'm not declining your call. I'm not exactly sure what's going on.
It's okay, Mad Mac. We're not hanging up on you on purpose
Yes,
yet.
Yeah, I will though if I need to. It's so today, Friday, March 20th. It's going to be a high 65 and a low 35. You're going to have some cloudiness, but the real feel is going to stay in the upper to mid 60s, so should be a good day. Saturday will be just as good. It'll be high of 69, low of 52, partially sunny and warm, and a real feel of 68. Sunday it'll cool off a little bit, but it'll still feel great. It'll be a high of 55 and a low of 32 with some clouds and some breeze, but the real feel will still be in the 50s, so you're all good there. Enjoy your weekend.
So, yes, we do have the South Shore.
The Monon extension, right? Is that what it's called?
Yes.
After the famous Monon Trail.
Oh, yes. Yeah. It's Jesus.
So do you guys want to take the calls now before this thing fails?
Before we lose it?
Before it fails?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's hopefully this goes well.
Fingers crossed.
Brent,
you're crossing my finger. That's weird.
All right. Good morning, caller. You're on the air, I think.
Good morning.
No, maybe not.
Not so much.
Let's see. Maybe the other guy will be on. Otherwise, I'm going to have to redo this phone call.
Yeah, it's not the end of the world.
No, it's fine.
It was nice yesterday. We had a guest come in, and it's on me. I didn't open the patio just because I didn't think it was going to get that warm. And somebody brought their dog, and they're like, "Can we sit on the patio?" So I had to run out there and flip the chairs over, and I got out there. I hadn't been on it, but it's the plastic kind of plexiglass windows or whatever in the winter. It was like 70.
Oh,
I was like, this feels great.
Yeah. I would just restart that.
We end up having a bunch
Joe.
of people out there.
If it's down, just restart it.
It'll be open all
that's
day
what I'm
today. I'll make
doing.
sure we open it first thing.
So, oh my gosh, so much to talk about here because the next thing I want to say is this isn't the Doc's Smokehouse Brent hour, but I do have to say
it can be.
We would prefer that.
Anybody wants to call and talk about barbecue Doc Smokehouse, we would love to. 1420 Calumet Avenue, Doc.
I have to say we went in, what was it, on Lent maybe? I don't know.
Was it Fat Tuesday? The New Orleans?
Yes. We went on Fat Tuesday, and this shows you how in tune I am with religious high holidays. But so we went in there, and it was some of the best fish and shrimp that we have ever had anywhere. My dad absolutely loved the gumbo. It was great.
Thank you.
And then we went back, a couple weeks later for a Friday when you were having the fresh stuff. and it was fantastic again. I don't know where you were getting your shrimp from, but it was. And I'm not snobby about it.
I'm picky
but,
about shrimp. So, growing up in Alabama, and we always vacation on the Gulf, and then I lived down there for a couple years. My first job out of college was in Orange Beach, Mobile, and to get fresh shrimp out of the Gulf, to me, putting aside any ecological or whatever concerns, the shrimp farms are right next to the pig farms.
Yeah.
In Indonesia and Southeast Asia, Vietnam, Malaysia, a lot of places. If
Yeah.
you look at where your shrimp is coming from, get Gulf shrimp. And luckily, through one of our purveyors, they actually sell shrimp from Bayou La Battery Seafoods, which is where we used to get them.
Yeah.
Bayou La Battery, famous for Forrest Gump, right? That's where he was
shrimp
living.
gumbo.
Yep.
Popcorn shrimp.
It's
Shrimp
an interesting. It is. You go over to the bayou. It's like
It's
stepping
bad.
back in time.
Yeah.
It's they have a big. It's a big fishery. They do the shrimp boats. They have the oyster tongers, which are these guys that go out in these little boats, like a 20-foot long set of tongs, and they break the chunks
yeah.
of oysters off the reefs.
Oh wow.
Those are very large, strong dudes, all day long, standing in a boat. But great seafood. So I only do Gulf of Mexico wild
Yeah,
shrimp.
it was
It's
just man. You
you
could
can tell. Like
the
I,
difference.
I feel whether it's placebo or not. I feel like I can tell the difference. I know it's definitely helping the economy in Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, and it's not. Farm raised foods from a third world country can always be suspect.
Yeah.
Don't Google that. Watch
Joe
the Amazon
seems-
documentary.
I think I fixed it.
Okay.
We got a caller.
We should have two of them. Let's see if I actually fixed it. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hello.
Hey.
Boom.
Hey, good. Hey, congratulations! Before I could, I was on hold, and I could hear Mad Matt, and he was asking if you guys could hear him. That was the strangest thing. I thought I would be talking to Mad Matt. Second.
You call in thinking you're going to talk to some radio host, and you just get randomly paired with Mad Mac. That's got to be a wake
That's
up.
something we do now here on WJLB. We just let the callers talk on the party line, and we continue on with the
Party
show.
line. You're old when you remember that.
Yeah. So how's it going? What can we do for you today?
It was just a quick call. This is the first I'd heard about the BP lockout, and then I went to YouTube or whatever and watched one of the local news things, and I'm not surprised that they're doing this, BP, and I have no sympathy for BP whatsoever. And they talk about the record profits. I appreciate that. And again, this is not an excuse for BP, but years ago they made a horrendous business decision. Well, not the people working there, but the people at the very top in Britain, that they were going to go green.
Yeah.
The green in BP. For green, and they were going to go wind, and they were going to go solar, and they lost their sorry little asses on that. They did. I mean, they forgot what they did, what made them what they are, which is getting oil out of the ground and refining it. And they were, I don't know if you call it virtue signaling, call it getting caught up in the Green New Deal, all that nonsense, but they lost their asses on that, and they have been. In the Whiting refinery, I don't know how it is throughout BP, but at that Whiting refinery, they have been axing union jobs up there. Unbelievable.
Well,
in my mind, this is several years ago. East Chicago actually helped a non-union company build a training center as a conduit to get workers into BP. That blew me away when East Chicago actually contributed money to that endeavor. I kind of saw the writing on the wall then, and BP is they can make more money than Carter's Got Pills, and there's always got to be that extra dollar that they can make. I am a capitalist through and through. Make what you can, but it is a shame that the 800 workers are going to be without paychecks for God only knows how long. Because somebody in Great Britain thought that wind farms and solar were going to be the way we're going to be BP's future. When BP has been, as I said, getting oil out of the ground and refining it, that's their bread and butter. I'm trying to come up with a good analogy, but that's like asking them to do something that is completely contradictory to what they do for a living. All of a sudden, they're going to turn around, pivot 180 degrees, and go in a different direction. Absolutely insane.
Well,
but at the end of the day, the little man is going to pay for it.
Last year, they only turned a profit of $381 million, which was way down from the $15.2 billion they made in 2023. So clearly, they got to cut some jobs and shrink some pay.
But this Carl, you're right with the Green New Deal, all of this, tree hugging stuff. It's nice. It sounds good. It's certainly, zooming out to 10,000 feet, there is a role for that, but it is just a supplement for power. We are an oil and gas-based civilization. And that's why we're seeing that we're having the same argument about NIPSCO and some of their decisions. I think we are having an electric price increase this month or next month is taking effect. And it's all this new Green Deal garbage of, hey, we want wind farms, we want solar. Yes, there's a place for it, but the fact that you've got these big corporations that are getting – They spend billions trying to get into the business, and now I think they're seeing that it's not worth it, so they're going to spend billions to get out of it. Every car maker is, aside from your Teslas, are cutting some of their electric lines for vehicles. And so some of this, and you've got one. You've got one, as I point to you.
I have two.
But what that says, I don't think that there was really a whole bunch of forethought to, hey, what's going to happen where our grid's not capable of handling this. You're right, BP, your job, getting oil out of the ground. That's what you did for 100 years.
One quick comment. You mentioned NIPSCO. I remember this is within the last year, possibly even 2 years, and I would call in WJOB and laugh about this. NIPSCO would send me emails because I'm, part of their pay my bill online thing.
Yeah.
And they were asking me if I would be interested in using renewable energy. And depending on what percentage of my electricity that I used, my bill would be up to 30% more. The more renewable energy I used, the higher my electric bill was going to be. And I thought to myself, what kind of morons running NiSource thought that this was a good idea, that people are going to be you're going to have some way out lefties that are going to say, I'll pay more for it because I'm saving the earth. You're tree huggers. But who in their right mind is that in Northwest Indiana, working class people are going to agree to paying 30% more for their power? It does nothing different. You're telling me you're going to build all these
You're
wind
making
farms.
a great point. Let me ask you this. If your power, if you could opt to have renewable energy and it be cheaper, would you do it?
Yes.
What know what state
if
has?
If it was cheaper, excuse me, if it was cheaper and reliable.
Yes,
that's the number one thing.
Do you know what state produces the most? What percentage? What state has the most renewable energy?
If I were to guess, I'm going to just go on a limb and just because yes, I'm going to say Texas.
South Dakota. 90% of the energy in South Dakota is wind. Okay, North Dakota has the lowest energy cost in the United States, 11 cents a kilowatt hour.
Wow.
What's ours? A lot more than 11.
Yeah.
30 something.
Yeah.
So, do you know how much energy North Dakota gets from wind? What percentage?
Hit me with it.
51. Lowest energy cost in the country, and more than half of their energy is produced via wind energy alone. So, while I understand, obviously there's states. It's funny because the three highest renewable energy states that use renewable energy as a percentage of their total output: South Dakota 92%, Iowa 83%, and Kansas 74%. All those green tree hugging lefties in North Dakota, Iowa, and Kansas. So
And here we have NIPSCO, and when the wind blows, our power goes out.
That's a good point.
That's
maybe,
true, too.
maybe they could turn that around. I think I read a really interesting article. I'll try to look it up, but it was so the Chinese, who are being most affected by the Strait of Hormuz closing. Something like 90% of their petro comes out of through that straits. They have the largest current renewable energy, both solar and wind, and then over the next 20 years, stuff that's already planned, they have vastly bypassed everyone else. And this article, I think it was from the Cato Institute. It was one of the kind of
one of the think tanks out there.
One of the think tanks, but they were using China as an example of if globally we transition away from oil as a primary power. I mean, you're always going to use some of it, but if most countries are generating their own via renewable stuff, how does that shift the geopolitical power balance of the globe?
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden, the Middle East doesn't matter anymore, right? If there was no oil in the Middle East, would we have been involved in any war there in the last 50 years?
No.
Probably not.
It's something. I mean, I get it. I don't want to pay more in my power.
And
I mean,
you're talking about
we've talked about my commercial stuff. My power is more. It's almost tripled over the last 4 years. I mean, that's a tough thing as a businessman.
Well, and that was a good point to say. Would you pay more for renewable power? The answer is no. You're going to get a few folks out there that say yes because they're the same folks. Recycling is a complete money drain.
It's a con.
It's a total con. For all those municipal folks out there that are paying for stuff, I can tell you, because I'm the town council president of Dyer, I can tell you when the rates go up, it's because of recycling. It all goes to the same place. And we've pondered getting rid of recycling because it goes to the same place, it does nothing. But there was 20 years of front loading to wash out your milk jug and put it in there. It's do we stop that? But it's just one of those good money after bad. And so no, I wouldn't pay more for renewable. Now I'd be fine paying less for renewable, but it would have to be reliable. Where I say I will pay more is look, you can almost go off grid now. Not really, but you can almost go on grid. You can get solar. You can put a turbine in your backyard, wind turbine. The problem then is reliability, and so I'm okay paying more for reliable energy.
Yeah,
and
I mean, I think that's. I mean, obviously, I just looked that up, and I was kind of shocked. I mean, 91% of their energy, and you think of South Dakota.
And I bet the 4 people that live in South Dakota are just so happy.
But I mean, but still, if I understand it correctly, and the wind doesn't blow all the time, sun doesn't shine at night, but it's like massive storage is the hiccup, right? We could put up plenty of solar panels and windmills, but they're not going to work 24/7. You have to have storage. But if you think about and I'm just conjecturing here, but based on the size of the battery in my car, and you could get this Tesla Powerwall thing for your house that'll supposedly run your house for like 3 days if the power goes off. Is the battery technology going to change to a point that suddenly we could store enough for when the wind isn't blowing? Yeah. Obviously, in places like Kansas, Iowa, and South Dakota, the wind blows enough that it's not really a problem.
Yeah.
So,
hey, caller.
Just real quick, guys.
Yeah.
Just real quick, out in, I believe it's Stark County, maybe it's up more closer to South Bend. They kind of destroyed 1,200 acres of farmland to put in solar panels.
Right.
And you think of what the power, what the output, megawatt power output is for that 1,200 acres of land that they just, for all intents and purposes, are kind of destroying. You could build a nuclear which will do multiple times more output in a much smaller footprint, much smaller.
I'm
and
a
it
big,
would be reliable.
I'm a big fan of nuclear.
I think
we're about 10 years away from having the small compact nukes here
Well, I mean,
in Indiana.
If one can run an aircraft carrier indefinitely, why
Yeah.
how if it's
they're building one
Or submarines.
Yeah.
why can't we put a aircraft carrier sized one
I think
in
they're
every
building
town?
one over in Illinois. I know they're building one in Virginia. I would not be surprised if we have a couple of them pop up here in Indiana. It is, despite whatever shows you might watch on Netflix. I mean, it's safe, reliable, it's clean.
Yeah.
There's a water component, a cooling component to it, but again, this isn't 3 Mile Island. This isn't Chernobyl.
No, I mean, look at you're talking about eons in technological years, right?
So, but it is.
All right, you guys have a great day.
Thanks for the call.
Thanks for calling in. Thanks to Joe for figuring out the phones. Do we have one more?
Line 2. Two
All right,
callers.
we'll take one more call, and then we got to take a break here because we got to pay the bills to keep these lights on.
It's kind of a letdown. I was hoping to talk to Bob, not you two dorks.
Hey, hey. Hey, what's going on, man?
Good morning.
Hey, so the issue with the phones, just so, Joe, you might want to take a couple notes here, but I was getting your Google voicemail relaying system. That was coming in on the phone, and then Verizon was saying the call can't go through because the lines are busy or blah, blah, blah. So I don't know if you just rebooted the box.
And then you were chatting up the other caller
phone.
for a while. Did y'all have a good conversation?
Yeah. I think
Well, it
we
was
should do
only one way. I was talking, but I couldn't hear a thing, though, so who knows?
What's on
But
your
hey,
mind this
just
morning?
to I'd start out. I missed you last night, Brent. I got out of my little family work project a little late, but I think I'm gonna hit there tonight. Watch the Purdue with you, hopefully.
Yeah, come on in. Half
But,
price wings all day. Doc Smokehouse, 1420 Calumet Avenue.
So quick question: what's the problem? What I assume is raising shrimp next to pig farms is the shrimp eat the pig poo.
Yeah, that's generally the so they're not. It's not like a salmon where they're farmed out at sea. They do it in.
Yeah.
They call them ponds. You can look it up. Amazon has. If you go on Amazon Prime, there's a documentary about farmed seafood, and you watch that, and you'll only eat wild caught Gulf shrimp. I promise.
Yeah, I imagine it's like if you opened up like a big hole over in Gary and started a shrimp farm over there, huh? That's gonna taste well. So let's go to your wind stuff, by the way, because you left a couple facts out. Number one is that the government is subsidizing all of those wind farms.
Right.
So if you think you're going to make money or going to save the planet with wind farms,
well, then I
the
have a
cost
problem
is
then because the
5
government is
What?
subsidizing North Dakota to pay the third lowest rate in the nation to use all these wind farms. Why won't they subsidize us?
Well,
Why are they subsidizing just North Dakota?
The problem with any
because we
subsidies,
don't have any money, Brett.
Yeah,
Because
you
we
never
built
know
a
how much
$2
something
billion
actually costs.
Yeah. If listen, if the government's going to walk up and say, "Hey, you guys you got $100 million project for a wind farm there? Yeah, that's what it's going to cost. Hey, we'll give you 95. You just pitch in the other 5." That's what happened under Biden with all that electrical crap. You're defying the laws of physics with electricity, thinking you can store it because you can't. Not on scale. You can throw some batteries in your car.
I mean,
why do you think all these car
20 years ago
manufacturers
you
got out of
would have thought
electric
you could
cars?
drive a car like a golf cart that'll go 150 miles an hour?
Yeah, for what? 30 seconds?
I mean,
It's not working. They had the biggest battery farm in California. It was probably the size, like half the size of Dyer. Oh, whoops, it overheated, got engulfed in flames, and took them a month to put the fire out. That's the end of that. You can do one of those big batteries
so we should
from
never
Tesla in your garage.
we should
for a
never
while.
try to advance technology. That doesn't work. Give up. Let's go down. Right?
Well,
No. Listen, hey, Brett, why don't you do this?
Why do you think all of these deep red states, South Dakota, Bob, you know this better, right? South Dakota, Iowa, Kansas, double-digit Republican states?
red states probably 12 plus.
Okay.
R plus 12, I would imagine.
Why do you think those conservatives are embracing this green lefty movement.
Well, now I would say I don't know that I would call them conservatives.
They're
because
not embracing the green lefty movement, Brett. They're getting paid. Why did BP get into the idiotic green stuff? Because Europe went nutso.
So
if you want to go to Europe,
wait,
and
hold
heat
on,
your
wait,
house,
let's
it's going to cost you 15
slow down. I
times
want to
a year,
parse this
man.
out. You said they're getting paid. So the federal government is using our Indiana tax dollars to subsidize the electric costs for the citizens of South Dakota, Iowa, and Kansas. So they use Kansas is the least at 74% wind energy. And then they also let them pay some of the lowest costs in the country while ours are skyrocketing. Well, how do we get a hold of that? I thought we were a good conservative state.
Well, you would think. My guess is all of the money is tied up in capital costs, and that's where all the subsidies went to build those. Mm-hmm. And so, yes, once the infrastructure is in place, I have no doubt that it is 11 cents a kilowatt hour. We're paying in the mid-20s. And so, yes, the back end of it, the operation of it, is a lower per kilowatt cost. But the subsidy,
when you leave out the cost to set up these items, it's astronomical. It blows the equation up. You can't find a break-even point on these things if you put in the cost to build them. You know, you guys complain about BP record profits. They made $22 billion in 2022, right? How much money did they have to put up to make $22 billion? They had to employ $300 billion in assets. That's a 12% return. They should have got out of the business, invested in Google, and would have made 25% a year. They only make 12% return on their assets, guys. And I don't understand the unions, if they're so brilliant, why don't they ever put their money up? Because they've got billions in slush funds. Why don't they say, hey, you know what? We know better than the guys who put up $300 billion in capital. We'll buy the place, fire the management, and we'll run it ourselves.
Hold that thought for a second.
That.
Hold that thought for a second. Stay on the line. We'll come back to you right after the break here. It's the top of the hour, and I'm going to get yelled at here if I don't take a station ID break. But hang on to that thought, and we'll be back in just a second here on WJB 1230 AM 104.7 FM.
Life's biggest challenges don't come with a warning. When legal issues arise, whether it's a car accident, personal injury, criminal charge, or representing you before municipal boards, you need a trusted advocate on your side. At Westland & Bennett, we listen first because your story matters. We provide strategic, personalized legal solutions to protect your rights, your freedom, and your future. Peace of mind starts with a conversation. Call 219-440-7550 today for a free consultation.
Ennigenberg Roofing offers roof replacements, repairs, and new construction. Certainteed Shingle Master certified, our goal is to treat every customer and project with respect, courtesy, and honesty. Serving Northwest Indiana for over 63 years, contact us for a free roof replacement estimate at 219-365-8879. Mention this ad and receive a free upgrade to Certainteed Pro Shingles. Ennigenberg Roofing, 219-365-8879.
Do you like to work with your hands, creating something from nothing? Then think about Laborers Local 41. You'll get 432 hours of apprenticeship training, all while earning a wage with benefits and incurring no student debt. You'll travel to different job sites, learn tons of skills, and in a lot of cases, be the first one on and last one off a job site. It all starts at laborers41.com.
For over 100 years, Roofers Local 26 has been keeping Northwest Indiana dry and safe. Since 1919, our highly trained members have built a reputation for skills, safety, and reliability. With a 4-year apprenticeship and certifications in OSHA safety, first aid, and CPR, we deliver quality you can trust. When you need roofing done right, choose Roofers Local 26, protecting what matters most for over a century. For more information, visit www.roofers26.com.
Welcome back, Northwest Indiana. This is Region Rundown with Bob and Brent today here on WJOB 1230 AM, 104.7 FM, streaming live on the YouTubes. We're going to do a quick look at traffic and weather before we get back to the calls. Northwest Indiana, 8094, Tollway, 65, 30 and 41, 231, everything's looking good. You're looking good into Illinois. 94 is starting to slow up going into the city. Same with 55. You're not going to get the street names out of me because I don't know them. I don't go up there. So
Thank
to
you.
say,
I texted Adrianna the other day. I
The
was like,
wobbly woozy. You know, I don't know any of those.
I was listening as I was on over the air drive. I was about by Midway. I was about to have to switch to YouTube. I was driving to Wisconsin the other morning, and she says the numbers, and I've been asking. I'm like, I didn't grow up here.
Yeah,
I don't.
I did, but Illinois.
But everywhere I've ever lived in my entire life, and I've lived in some large cities, it's like, hey, I'm taking I-20 over to Atlanta.
Yeah, but
I'm taking 285 around the loop.
Everything
it's the Bourbon to the Eisenhower to the Harry Carey Express.
Yeah.
I don't know what
to
it
the
is.
Harry Carey Express. Harry Carey Express jacked up this morning.
But here's
the
thing.
the numbers, and I have to believe that most people, and if you don't, try it. It works. Throw wherever you're going into your GPS. It'll tell you what the traffic's doing.
Yeah.
I mean,
I do that too, but it's nice. It's nice to listen because,
like,
if I'm on Waze, which is what I use, I only see like a mile ahead, right? But if I know all sorts of alternate routes based on where the blockage is, right?
If you're going in and hey, 94, you know what, the merge with 57 is starting to gum up. You may find some way to get off and traverse through the back roads,
or before you even leave the house, you take the toll road, right? I mean, there's other ways you can get around it. So knowing, you know, if they start talking about stuff by, you know, it looks bad by O'Hare, I can take alternative action, right? But
that's what I got.
If you say that it was
and I may get yelled at, hey, Bob, your weather's trash. I just don't know what to tell you. It's a mental block. I like the numbers. 94 going into the city is slow. 55, everything going into the city. 90, 55, 290 is going slow. And 90 going up through to O'Hare is really gumming up. Around, we'll say the Kennedy. How about that? Around Milwaukee Avenue. Keep an eye out for that. But if anybody wants to teach me how to do the traffic, hey, give me a call. Anyways, how's the weather? And then we'll get back to the calls.
Okay, well, the weather is looking great all weekend. Today we're going to have a high of 65 and a low of 35. Real feel is going to be in the mid to high 60s. Saturday it's going to be a high of 69 and a low of 52. Less clouds, going to be more sun, and the real feel will be in the higher 60s. And then Sunday, to round out your weekend, it'll drop a little bit more. The clouds will come back out, but you will still be in the 50s as far as the height and the real feel. So enjoy it.
How about we get to the calls? Because I hear we have a lot of, if we still have Mac on hold, we'll hear what he has to say.
I didn't put him on hold. I cut him.
Oh.
We have 3 other callers.
Hey, come on back.
Call back. Oh, he is. He's actually the 3rd person in queue, so you'll hear from him again. But until then, good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yeah, I'd like to talk about the energy issue, but before I get to that, there's an article recent article in the Chicago Sun-Times, headline, Beer Bust. There's a dramatic change afoot in Chicago's craft beer industry with a rash of brewery closings so far this year. They note here there's been this has been caused by a steady decline in drinking, and that 2025 was a record low for drinking. Why do you think that is? Is that mainly young people dropping off from drinking, or is that something else?
Well, it's funny you bring that up.
That's someone who sells the.
This is an issue very near and dear to my heart. I live it every day. You know, our restaurant has 64 taps, and we built it around with a focus around craft beer. I can tell you, in my Indiana in Dyer, from our peak, our craft beer sales are down 35% from 2019 to today. It is not something that's new. It has been trending down since COVID. Now, there's within the beer industry, and Miller is headquartered in Milwaukee. We do a lot of business with them. The state director for the company, which is a big deal with Miller to run the state of Wisconsin, is a regular customer of ours. I've played golf with him before. This is something that the entire alcohol industry is seeing. It's not just beer. It's magnified in beer because you had, over the last 25 years, an explosion in craft breweries, which previously didn't really exist, right? I mean, there wasn't many of these things. And it exploded, and the market has moved away from it. And we're really getting into a situation of only the strong survive. So I can tell you, we're very close to our 10-year anniversary at Docks, and I would say just in Lake County there's probably 15 craft breweries that we used to sell in 2016, 2017, 2018 who do not exist anymore. I mean, Windmill Brewing is a great example. Great brewery right down the street from us in Dyer. Kind of our Dyer buddies. We always kept some of their beer on. Justin, the owner, came in and ate. Loved our wings. Half price today for March Madness, 1420 Calumet Avenue. But and he had a great product, had a great tap room, and the economies of scale. I mean, they've had huge input pricing increases, right? Hops have gone through the roof expense wise. And, as with anything, it's a lot cheaper to buy, shipping containers of them than a pallet. And it is a societal change. And my computer's dying, but I can pull it up. Last year in 2025, the lowest percentage of adults drank alcohol than any year since Prohibition. Think about that.
Yeah.
Since it was illegal,
wow,
that was the lowest consumption we've had, and I don't see it changing. I mean, we are seeing even within, and I'm a data guy. I'm very data driven in our restaurants, and we look at what sells and what doesn't. And when we opened 10 years ago, I had no domestic drafts on tap. We had Miller Lite in cans and bottles and stuff, but I didn't have Miller Lite. I didn't have Bud Light. I didn't have Michelob Ultra. Michelob Ultra is my best-selling beer right now. And people who are drinking beer have migrated back to the traditional lower cost, right, just good old beer that tastes like beer. And my personal anecdotal observation is younger people, say 21 to 30, do not consume alcohol anywhere near previous generations. And I don't know, what is that? Is that Gen Z, millennials, whatever it is? I mean,
I don't even know what I classify as. I might as well be a boomer, honestly.
But yeah, no, it's a deal, and I think you're going to continue to see it. A great example, and this is not beer, but in the spirits industry, we do a lot of bourbon.
There was somewhere in Kentucky that just had to shut something down.
Jim Beam shut down their flagship distillery where they made, and Jim Beam is a massissive company. They make a lot of stuff besides.
They shut down for a year, I think, just to let
that's what they said.
Supply.
Right. So they have another facility in, I think it's in Massachusetts or Vermont or somewhere up on the East Coast. And it's newer, it's more advanced. And so they shut down the big one in Kentucky. And it's like still open for tours, but they're not making any juice.
Yeah.
Right. So, oh yeah, we're gonna retool and we'll get it better in a year or so. The thing about bourbon or any aged spirit, what you're making now, you're not selling for 3-4 years at the minimum.
Yeah.
So they go, look, we're looking at what we've got sitting on the shelf. We're producing a glut that's going to further hurt the value of our product. So we're just going to shut it down. Now, if it comes back in a year, we'll see. But it's not unique to the beer industry. Wine in California is way down. There's legacy,
and is that because
celebrated Napa Valley vintners that are going out of business? Is
that just because it's super saturated? I mean, the fact that you can have 1 million breweries in Northwest Indiana, at some point you're just going to get oversaturation of.
I think that's part of it. But I mean, consumption. If the product you're selling has a smaller market, there's going to be contraction
Yeah.
in the workplace, in the economy. But yeah, it's not unique to beer. I think beer is taking it the worst, but you're absolutely right.
Here it says the breweries are raising, in response to this, breweries are raising their prices to match inflation and trying to market to younger and more health-conscious consumers with alternative products such as THC and CBD-infused beverages.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Are you infusing your beverages with THC and CBD?
We started selling them. It's a little. It's a big gray area. I think there's going to be some legislation in this next session federally. Right now it's kind of on a state level. Like in Indiana, it's not expressly illegal, but it's not expressly legal, and that's the same case it is in Wisconsin. In Indiana, the Attorney General has said, don't do this. There's a bunch of conflicting legal opinions, but I started selling it a year ago in Milwaukee, the THC products. And now we, being a barbecue joint, I never sold a ton of wine, but we sold a good bit of wine. And in the first year of selling THC, we sold more THC than we did wine. And that, I think that people who don't consume alcohol, I looked at it as I have the opportunity to sell them a $12 can of this THC stuff instead of a $3 soda, because they're not going to buy a $5 beer. Does that make sense? Oh, Bob.
Yep.
The best. But yeah, I think there is a lot of headwinds in the alcohol economy from the supplier side. There's been massive layoffs in the distributor. So there's a 3-tier system in the United States. You have suppliers, distributors, and then retailers like myself, and they're all regulated differently in each state. But you don't, for example, if I can explain this, I don't buy my beer directly from Three Floyds. I have to buy it through the distributor, which in this case is Calumet Beverage, great company, family-owned company here in Hammond. But I can't just go to – interesting thing. I'll give you a great example. I want to say it's $210 for me to purchase a keg of Zombie Dust in Dyer. In Milwaukee, that same keg is $180. So how is it that the beer that's made 2 miles from my restaurant is $30 a keg cheaper 120 miles away?
Right.
That's a tax thing, Bob.
Right.
But all right, we got more callers. So any more questions? I can pontificate about the sad state of the alcohol market for
I want to talk
hours.
a bit about energy. The eco crazies, whenever they're on in the media, they always like to talk about how the communist Chinese they're way ahead of us on solar and wind power and so forth. They always leave out that the communist Chinese are building coal-fired plants like crazy. I mean, the number one and number two producers of carbon pollution in the air, communist China and India. And the record of the United States as a major economy, the Americans are way ahead of the game in terms of dealing with pollution issues. And I have to ask a question with respect to the Dakotas. How many big steel mills do they have? How many big oil refineries do they have compared to what we have? I mean, can we run these steel mills and oil refineries on wind power, the unreliability of wind and solar power? I don't think so.
And to your point, and we've got a handful of callers here, so we'll go ahead and cover this and hop to the next callers. But to your point is, we are industry heavy here, so we need maximum generating power for pretty much Northwest Indiana. Not to mention, let's ignore the state line, Chicago. To have cities like that, you're going to need some generating power. But that's why we have Bailey Gen Station, Schaefer Gen Station, and why it's a disaster if NIPSCO wants to close those and just buy that energy on the market, because in order to have the security and the safety and reliability, you need to be able to generate that power. And that's what we have here in India. And they are bringing those back up.
So on China, this is, and I looked this up because you said that, and I know that my argument was going to be I don't think I don't think that the renewable energy argument is any. I don't think the climate pollution should be as much of a factor as cost and energy independence. So I looked this up. This is astounding to me. Do you know how much, Bob? Do you know how much renewable energy? What percentage of China? What percentage of their energy that they produce is renewable?
Not a clue.
56%. They installed 900 gigawatts last year, and this is what's crazy to me. Their annual investment is 31% of the entire world's. So China, as you mentioned, they're completely dependent on this strait closure in
Right.
Hormuz is hurting them the most, but they're already making big strides to go renewable anyway. So, I think that you can have the climate change pollution argument till the cows come home, and there's never going to be an agreement between the people who have two opposite opinions. If you look at it from the different perspective on, independence, energy independence, like true energy, even though we produce more, we produce everything we need here, but because it's a global market, we're affected by global prices in the petrochemical industry, right? But when you look at somewhere like China, who they don't give a crap about pollution, like you said, I bet their other, 46%. I bet it's all coal-fired plants, right? They're not doing that with a thing like, oh, we've got to save the earth. They're just trying to get the cheapest energy they can.
Well, if they're producing it, if they're producing all of the capital equipment necessary for solar and wind, they're doing that from state-owned businesses. They've got the labor, so their costs are probably going to.
Yeah, I mean it's a different economy, but that's what I'm saying. From their perspective, with a non-capitalistic government like we have, they're making that decision, and it's not because they want to be green.
It's not all
so. I think I think it's an interesting perspective to look at that debate, renewable versus oil, from the lens of not. I'm going to be a tree hugger, but financially, what's best for us in the long run? That makes it a different calculation.
Right, and that is, what would be best for China, what would be best for us is to be energy independent. But we'll go to the next caller. I do want folks to, if you get a chance, Google the Ivanpah, Ivanpah, solar electric generating system in California's Mojave Desert. That's the giant solar.
You've seen it when you're flying over it,
but that's the one that is killing all of the birds.
Because if I'm not, I believe I've flown. It's either that one or the one. It's like a bunch of mirrors, and they focus on one. You fly over it at 30,000 feet, and it looks like the sun on the ground.
Yes, and so
I've flown over that several times.
It cooks the air, and it kills about 6,000 birds. They quite literally fly into it, they fry, and then they fall down. So. If you're in the Mojave Desert, bring an empty bucket.
I wonder if I could set a restaurant up there, and it's like a
free power.
I was thinking free meat.
Free meat, cooked bird. Hey Joe, we got any more callers? I think we got a bunch.
Yeah, I'm sure I'm making people angry. So
you're not making people angry. They're happy you're here.
I love having these discussions.
Hey caller, you're on the air.
Good, because your boy is back, Brett. Let's go.
Round
two. Here we go.
Hey Brett.
Yes.
Hey
sir.
Brett, who do you think picked up the tab for the $3 billion debacle in the Arizona desert? For that idiotic.
You're going to say the taxpayers, whether it's true or not.
Well, do you
I don't
think
know.
anybody
I know
put
what
up
you're
a
going to
private
say.
nickel?
I'm sorry, what?
No, what Brett? The problem is what I'm going to tell you is the truth. The federal government ate that thing. $3 billion right down the tubes, and they're still not done taking it apart yet. Now, you know why China does so well in solar panels?
Why?
What do you think, Brett? why don't we do this? I got an idea. Let's have China come over and set up a solar panel company over here in the United States.
Aren't you two going to share bread tonight? Break bread?
Oh, yeah.
I want to watch that.
Yeah, they put one right on the top of his noggin. But listen, why don't we have these guys at BP who are locked up? They can work for the China Solar Company. And what they'll get paid will be 10 cents a day. They'll be chained to a desk, and they'll be on like the 4th, 5th, and 18th floor of a building. And if they decide they don't like it and they break the chain off their ankle and try to run and jump out the window, a net will catch them where they will be dragged back in and tied to the desk for a whole 10 cents a day to make solar panels. Brett.
So
that's how it works in China.
My favorite part of the whole conversation is Brett.
So I just want to.
I mean, my God,
I love to fact check you in real
Brett,
time.
I gotta tell you,
but from BP's own
Brett, you
website,
sound
you know
like-
what their profit margin was?
Wait, say it again. I didn't hear you.
So from the BP's own website, their profit margin in the last 4 years has reigned. Is between 22.8 and 29.1%. You said it was 12.
No, that's a return on assets, Brett. That's a different calculation.
I'm just saying
you have
their
any idea
gross
how that
profit
stuff works,
margin. You want to know how much what their profit margin was? I don't have a high level of accounting skills, but I do run a business and I know what profit margin is. And BP's profit margin was 22 to 29.
You know what the profit margin on chips coming out of NVIDIA is? 87%.
Yeah, but
do you know what it is over at Apple? So that little Apple Watch you got on, and all the Apple products your kids are running around, they're made by 12-year-olds in China, and that comes out at like a 75% profit margin. And you're bitching about somebody who put up $300 billion in assets to make $22 billion. They would have been better getting long Intel and hanging with that one. I mean, it just doesn't add up. But hey, I got to tell you how ironic this is. Windmill Brewing went out of business, huh?
That's because they were Dutch.
Hey, now don't forget, Jim Beam. They did close a plant down there, but don't forget they did build another one because back in the day when whiskey was going to be the only beverage consumed by every person from the age of like 3 on up, when whiskey was the big thing, they built a new one. So they simply reduced their capacity, no doubt. But the number one thing why alcohol is down, because we made the moronic decision to legalize weed. Who's the biggest seller of weed in this country now, Brett? You're wrong. Yes, you're going to say
I don't know.
California, Colorado, and Illinois. It's called the Medellin Cartel from Mexico. They sell more weed in this country.
Okay, so hold on.
Than
The Medellin
anybody.
Cartel doesn't exist anymore, and it was
All
from
the
Colombia in the
cartel.
80s. I'm sure it
All
might
the
be a cartel.
Let's not single them out.
The Medellin Cartel was run by Pablo Escobar. There's lots of movies about how he got killed. And that was
all the cartels. Excuse me for making a joke there. Okay.
So you're saying wait. You're saying that the THC drinks that I sell in Milwaukee that are made by Explorium Brew Pub in Cedarburg is actually controlled by the cartel?
The amount of weed sold in the United States of America, the biggest seller, although not the majority, are the cartels. And why is that?
Is that the illegal weed, or is that the legalized product in states where it's legalized? Because I'm not an expert
Brett,
on this.
Do you think anybody consuming weed like Jimmy D and Kuziak, do you think they care if they're getting it at a higher price legally or a lower price from the boys? They don't care. That's why in the state of California, almost 50% of all legal weed sellers are behind in property and sales tax turnovers to the state because they're getting undercut at every juncture by the cartels. Why do you think the buildings in Colorado, there's an apartment complex in Aurora, Colorado, has about 800 units. You know who controls about 700 of them? The cartels. They store it. They move it. It's just a fact of life. When you put
wait, have you told Kash Patel about this?
It never ever works.
Cash don't care. Impeach him. It's time.
I know facts are a tough thing for you to grasp, Brett, but I'll see you tonight, brother.
All right, come get some wings, Doc Smokehouse, 1420 Calumet. We've got them half price. We open at 11 today for the first tip off at 11.
And I got to tell you, they are as good as hell, boys. They are the best around in probably in the state, maybe even in the country.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
All right,
let's go to the next call.
Well, we're going to take a break here at 7:28. We're going to take a break. I do want to say there's no spelling test today. So, Liam, enjoy your last day before spring break.
Yeah, go Liam.
Yeah, and I got to give a shout out to Harper and Bart, too.
Yeah.
They're watching. So.
All right. Oh, good.
Oh, I will also say, though, real quick, you did lose the poll, Brent. I started an instant poll. You lost 56. Mad Mac was voted 56% on being right, so.
Oh, no. 50.
Oh, man.
50-50. It just dropped. I'm ending the poll, though.
I'm out. I'm done.
This is done. This is done. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back here on WJOB 1230 AM, 104.7 FM, and on the YouTubes.
With someone you are
Are you sausage curious?
Who's ready for Poland?
Big Frank Sausage has the very best Polish food in the region.
You had a mouthful of Big Frank sausage?
We have a full bar, dine-in, carry-out, delivery, and catering available.
I've had a mouthful of Big Frank sausage.
I've got a mouthful of Big Frank sausage.
219-378-9556. Smacznego i na zdrowie.
Who's ready for Polish?
It's the simplest expression. The smallest thing that changes everything. A smile. So easy. A smile lights it up. Apologizes. And welcomes unconditionally. Because the shortest distance between two people is a smile.
Thank you.
Strag & Van Til, where making life easier starts with a smile.
IBEW Local 697 electrical contractors bring the highest standard of electrical work to Lake County homes, schools, and businesses. From everyday fixes to once-in-a-lifetime builds, we don't just get the job done, we get it done right and up to the highest safety standards. When you need electrical work, hire the professionals who power Indiana. Powering Indiana, Lake County, bringing excellence to the job, creating a brighter future for our community.
It's the simplest expression. The smallest thing that changes everything. A smile. So easy. A smile lights it up. Apologizes. And welcomes unconditionally. Because the shortest distance between two people is a smile.
Thank you.
Strag & Van Til, where making life easier starts with a smile.
Welcome back to Region Rundown with Bob and Brent today here on Friday, March 20th. First day of spring. It's beautiful. Joe will tell you all about that in a second. Traffic is fine. If you know of anything, hit us up in the YouTube comments or give us a call at 219-845-1100. Everything in Northwest Indiana looks pretty good. 30 looks like there's a couple slowdowns near the traffic lights, but that's about it. Heading into the city, 94 and 94, 55, again, slowing up into the city. Traffic is what traffic is, man. It's Friday at 7:30. You all know how it goes. But yeah, slow going into the city, slow getting into O'Hare. That's what I've got for traffic. No accidents, nothing of note.
Wow.
How's the weather?
That rarely happens. Oh, sorry, something in my throat. So today, Friday, going to have a high of 65 and a low of 35. The real feel is going to be in the upper to mid 60s, so it's going to be a very nice day. Saturday, it's going to be even better with a high of 69 and a low of 52. The real feel is going to be all the way up at 68. And then Sunday, it'll cool down a little bit, but, we're out here in Indiana, so what does that really, how bad is it really when it's still a high of 55 and a real feel of 50? So enjoy the weekend because it's going to be a nice one. And it seems like that's where it's trending for, the next couple months. I don't know if we'll ever, see it really go down into the 30s or the 20s again. And, I think we're done with the snow until October probably. So that's your weather.
How come Tuesday isn't on the poll?
Fine. Tuesday is not on the poll because you can only have 4 options, and I already know what a majority of the people in this comments think about the Tuesday
Thursday
show.
is our rotating day.
Yeah.
So,
I guess that's a fair point. I probably should have put Tuesday instead of...
All points I make are fair.
I probably should have put that instead of Thursday.
That's
but
what I'm saying.
I also... People are so mean to the Tuesday show. So
well, what are you going to do? Hey, we got any callers?
We do. We have 2.
Hey, let's go to caller number 1. You are on the air with Bob and Brent. And
what's on your mind?
Hey, Bob.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, Bob. Hey, it was good to meet you at Taste of the Region.
Hey.
You remember meeting
me? Yeah, so I'm at Taste of the Region, and there was 2 or 3 folks that as soon as I could hear people, I would know who they are, but I'm terrible with faces, and so that's one skill that I haven't learned. When I do the show with Chuck on Mondays, he knows every voice of folks that have called in once or twice, and he knows, hey, this is, John from Cherville. This is Dave from St. John. This is, Dave from Crown Point. And I am still getting to know that, but I recognize some of the voices. So Taste of the Region was fantastic, by the way. That was a fun event.
Yeah.
So
it was very, very nice. Hey, so you hit it spot on with the whole craft beer thing and the alcohol. Here's the thing with craft beer. You're right. It's way saturated. And let's just be honest here. Brett, you're from the South, right?
Yes, sir.
So you're a good old boy like me. I could always like a Coors Light, right?
I was a Budweiser
or a Miller
guy.
Light, or a Budweiser. Okay,
Yeah.
You can always like your Budweiser. The problem with this craft beer crap, if I could find 1 out of 10 that I actually thought was tasteful and refreshing, I'd give you $100. And I probably can't find 1 out of 10. It's like they're all like, "Oh, it's got this flavor. That's interesting." No, I couldn't have 3 or 4 of them.
Well,
it's just not good.
There is the successful craft brewers have realized that. So 3 Floyds, for example, which is one of the, if not the top craft brewery in the United States. For many years, it was rated the best. They were famous for for Zombie Dust, which is this really hoppy IPA, and still one of our best-selling beers. Zombie Dust is great. But last year or the year before, they came out with Floyd's Deluxe, which is like their version of a lager Pilsner type. I always get lager and Pilsner confused, but it's like a Budweiser. It's like a 3 Floyds Budweiser. It's really good. You should try one. I've got it on tap.
I was just gonna say, where can we crack one?
I've got it on tap
Like
at
the
Doc
worst-
Smokehouse,
like the
1420 Calumet Avenue.
The worst gimmick we have today.
So
no, but I mean that's you. They would have never. If you looked at them 10 years ago, they were rightfully very focused on these really interesting, different kinds of beers, and that's what the market loved. And the market is shifting back, as I said, to your traditional beer that tastes like beer, and they've done a version of that I think is really good. Revolution Brewing in Chicago is another big one that's holding on. They've got one called Cold Time. It's just like a beer, right? It doesn't have to taste like, watermelon, citrus, ice cream, something. It's just beer. And that's the people that are still drinking beer are migrating back to that in big numbers.
That's usually where I tease. I'm not a beer drinker. I probably have had a total of 6 beers my entire life. Just not my thing. But the craft beer stuff, it is fun to tease those folks because they all have a look about them, and then it's I don't know. This one here is extra hoppy and smells of bad decisions. And
Man, I learned how to drink beer through a funnel. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, exactly. And and the same is with the whiskey. Now, I'm not a whiskey drinker. I think it's pretty gross myself. But nowadays with the whiskey, everybody's a bourbon connoisseur all of a sudden, and I go over by my neighbor's house and he's got 95 bottles of bourbon. And it's like, dude, I can't wrap my head around all this, man. Like, what are you doing here?
I do
have I don't know.
I'm a bourbon guy, so I do.
The new trend. I've got a couple of friends that, they'll do a podcast and they've got, just shelves on the wall of, I think they're just glass bottle collectors is what they are. But yeah, they really get into all the different, hey, we went on these bourbon tours and we got all these bottles and, maybe I'm just uncultured swine and I don't know the difference between any of them. But there is a subset of the population that's big into bourbon now.
Well, I mean, it has been. I've been.
My neighbor, hey Brett, I'm sure you know what Blanton's is, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so the neighbor across the street, the same guy that's got 95 bottles of bourbon on the wall, he drove all the way to Kentucky just to sit because I guess he got some voucher where you enter this Ralphville and you're guaranteed your bottle of Blanton's at the distillery. The dude drives all the way to Kentucky to get a $60 bottle of Blanton's because that's what it actually costs down there. Up here, I heard you get raped over it.
Yeah, it's
but
$100
all the way to
for
Kentucky,
sure.
I'm like, dude, are you insane?
Well, I mean, no. Now, I'll say this: I don't have. I've had the most expensive bourbons in the world. I've tried them all. We sell a lot of them. I've had the 23-year-old Pappy. I've had the 17-year-old Eagle Rare. I've had all of this great stuff. My personal taste, I like one from Texas called Garrison Brothers, and it's a little more expensive. I think it's probably $50-$60. But I know Dan Garrison. I've been drinking it for years, and I don't drink a ton. But if I'm going to sit down and watch a football game and have a bourbon, I'll have one or two of those. I for years, and still I'll drink it any day of the week. Is Maker's Mark, which is just it's a $30 bottle of bourbon. It's one of those things. I like a lot of them, and I can tell you the ones if I tried, I'm like, man, I don't like this. But then once you get to a certain point, they're all pretty good. Right? That's my personal feeling.
Maybe you can solve a problem for me. So I went to the Patriots game last year, and it was like October, they had this craft beer, and it tasted exactly like a blueberry muffin. And I've never had anything like it before.
Is it something from Sam Adams?
I don't know if it was Sam Adams or if it was like Blue Moon or something. It might have been one of the two, but
not Blue Moon.
I don't think it'd be Blue Moon.
But I tried the
dark light.
I tried it was dark, but I tried the Sam Adams one because I had them in cans and it didn't taste the same way as when I had it from the I don't know what they're called.
Nothing ever the tap.
The tap.
My gosh, you should have had the camera on you for that. Watching Joe trying to pantomime out words.
Joe, let me ask you something. This is just how do you mind asking how old you are?
I'm 22.
22. How fast can you tap a keg?
I couldn't even tell you what that means.
See, that's the difference in alcohol sales, right?
Yeah.
We would when I was in college, we'd go through 4, 5, 6 kegs at a party, right? You had to know how to tap it, not spray it all over yourself. Yeah,
so that's when you pump it?
Right.
Okay.
So you go to a party, the
I don't know
keg's sitting
the
in a
proper
trash
way to
can
do
full
it.
of ice. Like
Right.
we have a draft system that's pressurized, but when you get a keg at a party, you have there's a couple different kinds of pumps. The long, skinny pump is better than the little short one, but you never wanted to be the guy at the party with the keg kicks. Then you got to take it off and retap it. If you don't do it right, it'll spray all over you, right?
Huh.
You are, and again, no offense, but this is why alcohol sales are down, right?
Everyone buys mocktails now.
It was a point of pride to
be
properly
able to do
tap
that.
a keg,
Yeah.
right? And it's not hard, but there's kind of an art to it, right? If you don't do it, it'll spray you in the face. So, it still happens to me sometimes in our keg cooler, but it was just something that you learned as an 18-year-old freshman in college, right? I want to try to tap this one.
I mean, I've done my fair share of like keg stands, but I've never had to tap it itself.
So I got one last thing to leave you with.
What you got?
Hey Joe, great idea with the poll on YouTube. I feel like I'm watching the PBD podcast. Good idea.
All right, cool. I'm glad you like it.
I just got turned on to the chat. I've
Good
never
idea.
looked at this before.
All right, thank you. Have a good one.
So before we go to the next caller, when we moved back here to the old studio and we hopped in the old studio and the old studio, I brought my laptop in and I started paying attention to the chat. And occasionally, for those of you that are watching that, when you see me just staring at it, it's like every once in a while I'm saying, "Oh man, shoot, I'm actually on the radio and I have to, dead air is awful because." Some of y'all like to just jibber jabber. I encourage all of you, you're on there, give us a call, 219-845-1100. But I found, I think the first time I said something in a chat on air, someone said, "Oh, we're included now." And yeah, I mean, that's what for those of you watching, I'll spin it around and just
minus 2.
we're just watching you all on chat. So
we're always trying to make you guys feel more
on
involved.
one camera, looking down at myself on another camera with like a 3-second delay.
Well, there is a delay. So as I say this now,
I'm going through the matrix here.
It is there's a delay between what I'm saying and what you're hearing on YouTube. So if you're listening on the radio and watching on YouTube, it's got to be pretty jarring.
I'm looking in the chat. When I was talking about Floyd Select, somebody mentioned New Oberfalls, their Hellas Lager, also on tap at Doc Smokehouse. Awesome beer, and New Oberfalls is a great example of one of those small local breweries that I think will survive. They do a really good job. They're really focused on quality. They have good food.
That's what I've
You should go check it if you've never been in there. They got a cool spot.
That's over on Main Street in Griffith.
Yeah, good food. Food's good. Their beer's always really, really good. Solid stuff.
So okay, callers.
Yes, we have 3 still.
All right, let's
Man, we're just setting the lines.
You made
on
these
fire.
chairs really rolly. I just rolled into the wall.
Yep.
There we go.
Hey,
Good
caller.
morning. I never thought I'd get on. My name is a Spook, and my credentials are I'm a former retiree of Inland Steel.
Okay.
I'm an investor in stocks, bonds, and real estate. And yes, I took a volunteer layoff from Inland, and I just wanted to let these BP employees know, and I don't know how much you know about this area history-wise, but we lost 2 former refineries, Citgo and Sinclair. They disappeared. And you mentioned the profit on BP. I'm an investor in stocks, big time. Stocks and real estate's my game, and world travel. BP, I would not invest in. I have Exxon Mobil. I compared the 2 of them. Their PE, price to earnings on BP, is a negative. Their earnings are negative. Now, in this day and age, with oil being so high in demand and everything, they're not really doing that good. So the moral of the story is I wanted to compare BP to Wholesome Foods. I don't know how much you know about stocks in the companies. Wholesome Food had 20,000 employees. They were famous for doing Wonder Bread and Twinkies. Now, the union made them take 2 separate trucks to deliver those products. Wonder and the Twinkies. Now, the company got in a little problem, so whatever it is, economic, the company did like VP's doing and said, look, boys, we're going to go bankrupt if you can't take a cut. And the union said, oh, no, they're bluffing you. They're not going to do it. Well, guess what happened? 20,000 employees lost everything because they wouldn't kick in. Now, I got laid off. I know what it's like. I did a volunteer layoff. And was I sad? Yes. Did I hate the place? No. Now, that company I worked for, Inland Steel, got bought by Metal. Metal got bought by partially Cleveland Cliffs. Personally, I think the auto companies and the steel companies, because it's so costly and labor is so expensive, well, just like the saying goes, there's not a truly made American car here. It's all come from parts from different countries as well. Now, steel is a very hard thing to produce. Now, recycling, like I said, I'm into stock. Nucor is the king. Nucor is a type of company where everybody works together. They work as a unison. When one person gets sick, they don't go to work because they're afraid of letting their team down. Now, we had a guy go to Nucor, and they work. They really work. Do they get a lot of money? Yes. Do they get, as a union worker, I will say I got by with murder, and I could tell everybody when they work, if they work for Inland, I am a classic case of someone that loved that company because of I had that insurance, Blue Cross Blue Shield. And I had two situations, and I was actually dead. Thanks to Inland's insurance, you're talking to someone live. I had actually died for 14 minutes in Dyer Hospital because of a clot. And the doctor, who's now retired, Nichols, went heavily. He didn't cut me open. He said, I tried to do the best. And then when I went to check him, he said, Jim, he called me Lazarus. I said, why are you calling me Lazarus? My name is Jim. He said, no, you died, and you came back from the dead. In 2025, I had blood coming from my aorta. I went to Dyer Hospital in February. The doctor said, you got some blood coming out. It's pretty bad. It's coming from your aorta, and we can't handle it. So they did the test, charged Blue Cross Blue Shield $35,000. Thanks again, Inland. And then they immediately that Friday, 3:30 in the morning, shipped me to Northwestern Hospital because they couldn't get me into Chicago, and they had 3 teams of doctors waiting there. And they said, well, Jim, here's the deal. You get the surgery, you might live. You might become a mushroom. You might go blind. I said, look, I'm tears in my eyes thinking about it. I said, I'm a steel worker. I can handle it. He says, okay. I came out. I lost 3/4 vision in my right eye. And I was in intensive care for 2.5 months. I went in February 3rd. I came out April 25th. And then I asked the doctor, please, I don't want to die here. So he got a special thing. He got a special ambulance, and he took me home. He said to my parents and everybody, he's not going to make it past 3 weeks. That was in 2020.
Well, man, I tell you what, I am glad you are still here, but we have a whole bunch of people waiting on the line.
I know. What I'm saying to the people up there, remember one thing and one thing only. A piece of cake is better than none at all.
That's a great point.
Oatmeal is better than no meal.
Okay.
Hey, thanks for calling in.
Right.
Next caller, how's it going?
I don't think I can.
We've got another call. I know we're going to go to a short break, and I think we have a call coming in from Matt Nobaloni Maloney.
Really?
We're going to talk a little hoops and he can give us some perspective on the real estate market
at your place.
He does. He has a sandwich named after him. The first person to get a dish named after him at Doc's.
We'll be right back here on WJOB 1230 AM, 104.7 FM, and on the YouTubes.
And I'm gonna make you feel.
Ogren Insurance, Hammond's oldest family-owned independent insurance agency, now in its third generation, providing clients in the Chicago area with products from quality insurance companies to handle your every need. Regardless of driving history, Ogren Insurance can find the right coverage for you at competitive prices. To learn more about the insurance solutions and services we offer throughout Indiana, Illinois, and Michigan, call 219-933-0076 or visit our website, ogreninsurance.com. We're located at 6929 Homan Avenue in Hammond, Indiana. Do business locally with someone you know and trust.
When your home needs help, the last thing you need is a faceless corporation or sales-driven franchise. At Myers Companies, we've been proudly local since 1951, born and raised right here in Northwest Indiana. We're family-owned and operated, built on trust, hard work, and integrity. And because we're family, we treat you like family. Your comfort and safety always come first. For HVAC, plumbing, and electrical done right, choose Myers Companies. Local, family-owned, here for your family.
For a fast and friendly car wash, go to Easy Clean Car Wash. Open 7 days a week in 4 convenient locations: Highland, Griffith, Cherville, and Lansing. Free vacuuming, air freshener, and a towel with every wash. It's fast, safe, and gentle. For more information and hours of all our locations, visit myeasyclean.com. Also, see how you can wash your car daily with our $10 Ultimate Wash for only $19.99 per month. Give your car the best clean at Easy Clean Car Wash.
From the gas in your car to the heat in your home and the roads that you drive on, our work powers daily life. We are USW Local 71, the proud men and women of the Whiting Refinery. We're not just refinery workers. We're your friends and neighbors, raising our families here, shopping in the same stores, and cheering in the same stands. USW Local 71, powering the region because we are the region.
Welcome back. It is 7:56 here in the region. You are listening to WJOB 1230 AM 104.7 in rustic Hammond, Indiana. From the rustic Hammond, Indiana.
You know what was cool when I pulled
Studios.
in at 5:59 this morning?
That took you 10 minutes to walk in?
To get into the front door, right? Let's move that key system up to the 20th century. It's interesting. Coming to the old place, which was at the Purdue, it was always empty, right? There's nobody in there. You pull back in here, and it's like there's guys working all around here at 5 a.m. It kind of gives you a thought of like what the region is about. I think this is a good place for the station to be.
I tend to get here 5:15 or so, and it is pretty cool. You'll see the delivery trucks out there. It's a bustling little place out there.
Joe, he's on. Okay.
Quick traffic
He's just
update. Nothing has changed since before, but I do want to make a special note on 65 North. So this is I'm sorry, 65 southbound, just south of Ridge Road, between 39th and 49th. There is debris in the roadway that is causing some traffic. Again, southbound 65, just south of Ridge Road. There's some debris in the road, so keep an eye out for that. Otherwise, everything looks good.
And we're going to take a caller, right?
After I do the weather.
After we do the weather.
Okay, then we'll get to it, I promise. But okay, I'll make it quick. Since I've been relaying this, basically the same thing all. I just realized I'm not on the camera. All weekend, or all day. What am I talking about? It's going to be a high of 65 and a low of 35 on Friday, today. With a real feel of 66. Saturday, tomorrow, it's going to be a high of 69 and a low of 52. The sun's going to come out even more with a real feel of 68. Sunday, it'll drop a little bit, but it'll still be very nice with a high of 55 and a low of 32, with a real feel sitting at 50 on the dot. So enjoy it. I think the tides are finally turning for y'all. And now we can go.
I think we have a caller.
I think we do.
Mr. Northwest Indiana Real Estate, Matt Nobaloni Maloney. Good morning, Matt. How are you?
You know, I turned the radio on this morning and I hear talk about short and long strokes and getting splashed in the face. What kind of garbage are you talking about?
This is WJOB After Dark.
Yeah.
Yeah, what the hell? Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, what's a good word, man?
Just licking my chops from yesterday's NCAA action. That North Carolina game kind of hurt pretty bad.
You know, but
today's a brand new day.
It's one of I didn't have a horse in that race, but don't you just? I just love it when those schools lose. You know, I can't tell you. Our mutual friend Andy Quinnell was in, and we with his son Vince at the bar taking advantage of some half price wings at Doc's Smokehouse, 1420 Calumet Avenue, and we were watching the Siena game.
Didn't have a Maloney.
No, he didn't have a Maloney, which Matt has a sandwich named after him, which is our house smoked corned beef, pastrami, kraut, Swiss. We got a chipotle honey mustard on grilled rye bread. It's amazing. The Maloney. So come in and try one. It's not half price today, but you can start out with some wings and finish with a Maloney. But I was pulling for Siena so bad against Duke.
Yeah, they played tough for quite a while. They hung in there.
Well, you know, and you get one of those teams with a kid that gets hot shooting a three, and we talk about the difference in like the football playoff and the basketball playoff. Really, any five guys can beat any other five guys at the Division I level on any day if somebody gets hot. Right? Somebody gets cold on one team, somebody gets hot on another, and that's what makes March Madness so fun. Is watching the VCU. I opened a hotel in Richmond and spent about 3 months there and went to a VCU game. And this was years ago. I think Shaka Smart was the coach back then, now at Marquette, which is right near Doc's Smokehouse in Milwaukee, 754 Valar Phillips, just if you're visiting Milwaukee. But they have
if the radio's getting up that far today.
They have a great basketball tradition at VCU. I mean, it was some just random regular season game, the place is packed, students are going nuts. So, what's the? I just got my thing open. Who do you like today, Matt? Give us a pick.
I think it's a tough one. Like last night, I thought Illinois was given 25.5, and that was too many because Penn and McCaffrey's their coach now. The guy from Iowa, I thought he'd want some, a statement, at least keep it close. But Illinois was the only Big Ten team that really looked dominant yesterday. I mean, Wisconsin, I never heard a High Point, but I kind of like St. John's today. I think they're giving 14 to.
I'm looking at it at 9.5 right now. I like St. John's
Northern
too.
Iowa.
Well, Michigan had a 21-point
really
victory
the
yesterday.
only thing
Just want to point that out there.
Well, I'm sorry.
Yeah, but they struggled. They struggled early. They didn't really get it going. They didn't play a complete game.
Well, and that's kind of like Duke, though. Some of these one seeds,
25.5.
they're sleeping.
Yeah.
SLU dropped 102.
Well, yeah,
that was
Duke
pretty
was
impressive.
In the first half.
Over Georgia. I knew that was going to be a high-scoring game.
Yeah, Georgia got whooped. I tell you one that I like, and it's the numbers moved down about 10 points, but I like Hofstra. Alabama lost their star point guard, a kid making high six figures in NIL money, got arrested between the SEC tournament and NCAA tournament with multiple pounds of weed. Always a quality program they're running down there at Alabama. So they're down a point guard.
I heard he was going to pay.
You know, shockingly, that wouldn't surprise me. They wouldn't have a law school at the University of Alabama if it wasn't for their defending their athletes.
Me personally, my pick, I love California Baptist to cover against Kansas. I don't think they'll win, but I like them to cover. It's 14.5 spread.
California Baptist. See, that to me that's a great. We're gonna get to watch some guys on TV that go to California Baptist. How cool is that for those guys? I have no idea where that is. I'm assuming California. I've never even heard of it. I mean, I've heard of High Point. I've heard of Siena. I've never. What do we know about Cal Baptist?
Just an athletic team.
14.5.
Yeah.
14.5 is not a lot of points. So
I think they'll keep it close. High Point, though, did you see that guy's breakaway layup to win the game? First 2-point field goal.
First 2 points
all year. All year. He went 0 for 4 and then strictly shot threes other than that all season.
One shining moment, baby.
I mean, he still went off that game. He had to have had like almost 20, not more.
Hey, Matt, while we've been talking about energy and the war in the Middle East and renewables and stuff, what's the housing market doing right now? Have we seen gas prices kick up? I know here in Northwest Indiana, it still remain. It doesn't always follow the national trend. What are you seeing around here in the housing market?
The effects haven't really. It's going to be 30 to 45 days from now when you're going to feel the effects of what's going on right now, because the 10-year yield was just about to dip below 4% when the bombs started flying. It's back up to 4.3. That's a 30 basis point move. And you're asking what I'm talking about the 10-year yield for. It's basically what banks, the 2-year and 10-year is how they pin their mortgage rates, and as it got under a 4% yield, the mortgage rates were getting under 6%, and that was really increasing activity. Now they are right back up to like 6 and 3/8, 6.3, and it makes a huge difference. I don't know, it's a psychological thing with people. Once rates were getting under 6%, the market was really getting active, and we've seen a little pullback from that already, and I anticipate the longer this drags on, the worse it's going to get.
Interesting.
So,
now, on a side note, have you ever sold a house in Northwest Indiana that has solar panels on it?
Yes.
So now, are those using that? Are they using that for replacement to be off the grid, or is that just a supplement, a novelty? Where are folks doing that?
Well, it hasn't. Ironically, the one I've sold a lot of houses. I've sold one with solar panels, and it was probably 8 years ago. So it was pretty unique, especially at the time, and they were for regeneration and for backup supply, strictly to. I think they had a system where they sold it back, excess power to NIPSCO or something like that. I don't know how that works.
Do you think it added value to the house when you were selling it?
No.
Yeah, that's interesting because I think it's a $30,000-$40,000 proposition to do that, and I think that the economics of it don't pay off if you're just trying to lower your bill. But I wonder.
I think it would certainly cause people to look twice. It would be a good selling point. I'm not saying you get all your money back, but if done right today, you got those Tesla panels, and it's not like 8 years ago. The technology is much better now, so I'm not saying it would. I think it would certainly help sell your house if you had those, but I don't know if you're going to get your 30 or 40 grand
Yeah, but I guess if I was looking at a house and they had them, and they're like, hey, yeah, these reduce your power bill by 40 or 50%. If we were looking at power bills right now, that would play a factor, right? I mean, if the two houses were equal, you would take the one with the 40% less power bill.
I would assume so,
or 50%. I don't know what the thing is.
But
I know
again,
the economics of the payoff of it.
That's the same argument we had about subsidizing the capital improvements to put these in. If that truly the exact same thing. Someone else paid to put them in, and that's why the Dakotas, have 11 cents a kilowatt hour, and we've got 20-some cents because the infrastructure was paid to put in, and now they're benefiting from that. So if you go to buy a house, someone's already invested the money to put the solar panels in, and then you come in as the next owner saying, "Hey, I didn't have to do any of that." Some form of that capital may be built into the price of the house, but you're not paying for it. That's part of the package of the house, and you're going to benefit from the cheap electric.
And we're not Scottsdale, Arizona. Like my guy I follow, Peter Zahan, he's a geopolitical analyst. He's like the solar renewable energy. Wind. I can see wind around here in certain areas, but solar, we're not getting your bang for your buck here in Dyer, Indiana, because we just don't have the hours of sunlight and sunshine that other climates do. So got to take that into account.
It was funny. It was interesting to me.
I don't want to invite any lawsuits from solar panel companies, so I better be.
Well,
I don't like it.
I had never been to California. Well, I guess I had been, but I spent a lot more time in California since I met my wife because we go out there and visit her. She grew up there. And it's amazing to me. I mean, I bet you half the houses you see have solar panels on.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, to the point where we were driving. One time we flew into LA and drove up the coast to their farm in Paso. And I'd been in and out, and I'd been to Napa before, but I'd never driven through half the state. And I was like, holy cow, this is wild how much they have. Again, it's LA. It rains 15 days a year. It would be a different animal here.
And you look at you were talking about Tornado Alley having some of the most renewable energy, assuming that renewable energy is primarily wind and solar. Wind.
Yeah, I mean it's
center of the country. That's where every time you see a jet stream, it cuts right through those states. So that makes sense.
Huh. I'm all for renewable. We need renewable energy, and we need to keep embracing the technology as it advances. But you can't just also turn your back on fossil fuels overnight. And maybe we will now. Maybe this war will spur, a cutting of the cord much faster.
Well, and I think
I'm thinking about
that's what I was talking about. That's what I was talking about earlier. Is looking at it through a different lens, not so much saving the environment or the climate change debate. Like how do we rid ourselves of dealing with these, eons old disputes in the Middle East that have never been settled for thousands of years, and it's like clockwork. Every 10 years or so, we get sucked into some kind of war. We spend. What if we were like, blow yourselves up? We don't care.
The real problem I've been reading a lot about, it's not necessarily the actual oil. Obviously, the United States is in a great position for oil and natural gas, but the fertilizer, farmers are in big trouble, and they're switching tons of acres from corn to soybeans because you don't need as much nitrogen on soybeans, and so the corn acres are going to be way down. And fertilizer, there's something, especially at that one plant in Qatar that they bombed, that produces like 25 to 30% of the. It's not just nitrogen; it's like urea. It's a byproduct that's used in fertilizer. That's
and the damage in Qatar. We were talking on one of the breaks when they come out and they're announcing that, hey, this is going to be down for 5 years. The damage was done. I was doing some in my day job. I was doing some audits of some pipelines yesterday up in East Chicago, and looking at some of these facilities and some of these tanks. They cannot be rebuilt in a week. They're and so as these oil fields are getting bombed, it sounds like there's more and more of that is happening. They're strategic targets. It's not put out the fire and lay down a new pipe by the end of the week. I mean, this is going to be years before this stabilizes, and the prices are just going to continue to go up. I think everybody needs to get used to that.
So to that point, and what you were talking about, Matt, with the nitrogen, which I had no idea. That's the first I knew that it's such an important part of farming, but I had no idea. So this morning, China announced they're no longer going to export any nitrogen. They're going to everything they have. They're going to need to keep. And so when you look at that, we talk about the impact in gas prices. I don't know the exact number, but majority of the corn produced in the United States is not for humans to eat. No,
it's not for humans.
It's animal feed.
It's
so if the input costs go up on the Lynn's family for raising their beef, they've got to buy more corn because they have corn-fed cows, and
they have to buy more corn because that. But now corn isn't being planted because they need to plant
4 million
soy.
less acres is what the impact is this far, right? And so
in the old days, I'd be licking my chops. I'd be limit up. Limit up with the corn.
Yeah, you're gonna ride the corn.
It's a real problem, though. It's the United States can absorb it. We okay, gas is gonna go to $6 for a while. We're gonna all complain, and prices are gonna get even higher from here. I mean, we're at a tipping point in this country, but some of these developing countries, you're going to see starvation. You're going to see food scarcity like we haven't probably ever seen. That's the scary part of it. I mean, the longer this goes.
Well, Qatar put out a statement yesterday that it's going to take them 3 to 5 years and $60 to $100 billion to get that facility back online.
Yeah.
And, again, we weren't using the liquefied natural gas from that plant, but it's a global market. So even though we're producing domestically, our price goes up too. It does. We don't operate in a vacuum because that's a global market, as Matt could well explain how the global commodities markets work.
You're right. The prices that we didn't, so 5,000 bushel contract of corn is what it is. Wherever it is in Chicago, it is in Pakistan. So, it's going to be an interesting dynamic.
Well, I think we're looking at, when we talk about, from my perspective in the food business, we've seen the last 2 years have been rough, right? We've seen continual price increases on everything from dairy to produce to proteins. So,
but quite literally, everything has gone up everywhere. And
I was told that wasn't going to happen.
Where's my winning, Washington? Where's my winning? There's a sweet spot in, and you can gauge the sweet spot on the economy based on the price of gas, and it's like between $2.40 and $2.60 a gallon for unleaded in the Midwest. That's a premium sweet spot because then you back that up, and that means that oil is at a decent price where everybody's getting a fair shake at it. Transportation costs aren't really affected by that. The price of oil is down, so that means all the different feed prices are down. Everything's at that sweet spot. Now that you can tell driving around, especially Northwest Indiana, they're hovering at $3.99, just waiting for the first station to bump it past $4. And I was reading something the other day. They said expect within the next 2 weeks 5 525 to be somewhat normal as the summer blend rolls in and we get into the big summer travels time. To see that 5, as Brent mentioned, maybe $6. And what's and Matt, you said something that you're 100% right on, but I hate it. The fact that the U.S. can bear it. Well, the U.S. has been bearing the entire world for decades now, and so our punishment for feeding the world, clothing the world, arming the world, doing all these things is now, in addition to all these the taxes, inflation is tax. Now I've got to pay $6 a gallon the entire summer, and so yes, there's always a story about some developing country, and it's sad. At some point it's like, well, here in America, we're getting really hosed. We're getting really hosed bad. Nobody in Washington seems to necessarily care. Republican, Democrat, I don't see any of them saying, hey, maybe we should not go to war again. Hey, maybe we should invest, instead of $18 trillion in the last 30 years in the Middle East, maybe we should rebuild roads here. What happened to all of these transportation initiatives, road funding they were going to do? America First really seems to have gone out the window, and it's just some weird international thing going on now, and I think we're all paying for it.
If there's one good thing that's in the short term, who knows what's going to come out of this in the long term? I hope a more stable Middle East will come out of it, but that's a long way from now. But one good thing short term is that the NATO quote-unquote allies and the globalists have been exposed for what they are. I mean, when push comes to shove, how much money did we pour into Ukraine to defend Poland's borders and NATO's borders? But when we needed help, the first answer was, not our war,
I disagree.
Don't get me started on the French. How many times have we bailed out all of Europe? We rebuilt all of them. We need to stop doing that.
I understand.
Let them become a developing
I
nation
understand
again.
your perspective, but there is something.
Here comes Mr. Liberal.
There's a key part of this that just seems to be dropped by the wayside. NATO is a defense organization. When we supported Ukraine, it was at the request of the Ukrainian people, other NATO. When we were attacked, listen, I know, I get it, but the countries supporting them were all part of NATO, right? So let's take Ukraine out of it. When we were attacked on 9/11, it's one of the only times they've activated whatever clause that is, the mutual defense clause. Right. All these NATO countries helped us out. They all sent troops in, some more than others. We used bases in their countries all over the world that we don't pay for. They just let us use them. The difference was when we, in both Gulf Wars, we came to them and said, this is what we're going to do. We want you to be with us.
They were offensive,
and we were attacked, right? In this war, we started it.
Liberal,
no, it's not liberal conservative. It's just a fact. We started this. We weren't attacked.
Oh, we definitely started the Iran thing.
Right, we started it.
Because we're
the reason is
10 days from a nuclear bomb, which they've been replaying that tape since '88.
Have you ever seen the supercut of Netanyahu saying they were a week from a bomb 27 times over the last 20 years?
Yeah.
So we started this, and it is well reported and even acknowledged by Trump yesterday in his interview with Japan. We didn't talk to anybody about this before we did it. We didn't say, "Hey guys, we have this intelligence that Iran is on the verge of a bomb, and if we don't make a concerted effort to stop this, it's going to put us all at risk." No, we just us and Israel started bombing them, and now once they shut down the Strait of Hormuz, which everyone knew they would do, they've done every time there's some kind of conflict, and we need their help. We go back and say, "Hey, we need to help. You need our help with this," and I think legitimately, some of them are going, wait a minute. you're not calling us for help. You kicked the hornet's nest, right? It didn't fall out of a tree on you. You kicked it.
Can I say,
I think there is whether or not historically, and we've done a lot of things. I'm not denying the fact that we have bailed them out many times when they were attacked, and we have helped them, and we are the leader in the world, which I like being. But this is a different situation. In terms of we started it.
We started no new wars, but I do want to say one thing. You did mention Japan, and I'm wondering if anybody watched the press conference with Trump and the new premier from Japan. Trump, I think I wish Trump 1 had the Congress of Trump 2, because Trump 2 is acting like he's got the Congress from Trump 1. But that was a very Trump 1 statement where he basically told Japan, yeah, we didn't tell you guys. We're not going to reveal our strategies. But on that same note, Japan, you guys are the master of surprises. Did you hear that, Brent?
I did.
When he
went
off on Pearl Harbor?
They're asking why we didn't tell them about something. They attacked us back then. Why would we? Why would they? To me, that's the difference that people seem to forget. Now, I did think that was kind of funny.
It was.
You got to admit, the guy's got no filter, and he'll say anything to anybody, no matter how.
Yeah, it was very, very, very
we'll
Trump
see what that means long term,
But again, part of the conversation is, and I don't want to debate going into those wars, but they attacked us, and what did we do? We held them by the forehead for a couple of years, and then we went to Europe. So, there are things that we start. We certainly start Iran. I don't know. I mean, I know why we did it, but my God, I mean, we just campaigned for years on no new wars, no new endless wars, and now we're out there just seemingly bombing Iran because our buddies, asked us to. I think one thing they're backpedaling on now is they're saying, well, the reason why we went into Iran is the Israeli government told the U.S. government that said, hey, look, we're going to nuke Iran because we're going to get this done. And we said, and again, this could be revisionist, we said, well, you know what, we don't want nukes going off, so we'll help you bomb them. I don't know if I buy that. That's just been something that they've been proclaiming from the pulpit in D.C. I don't know that I buy it. I think we just
I don't trust anything they say.
I think we just stepped into it, and the entire apparatus in D.C., it's the swamp. There's a really good meme out there. Maybe some of y'all aren't Star Wars fans, whatever. There was a scene in a movie where, the one guy says to the guy who's about to be Darth Vader, you're the chosen one. And I feel like we're saying that about Trump. It's like, Trump, you were supposed to drain the swamp, not join it. And, hey, I still voted for the guy, but man, this
wrap this up. If he doesn't wrap it up in the next 2 to 3 weeks, he can kiss the Senate and the House.
You think it's going to wrap up in the next 2 to 3 weeks? No. I think it'll be lucky to wrap up in 2 to 3 years. We're sending in Marines.
Yeah.
And,
well, I'm telling you, because this is going to have lingering economic effects, and it's the economy's stupid.
It is the economy stupid. And if there's $5 gas come election, Republicans will get slaughtered. That's just how it goes.
And they may have that story may have already been written, so he may have just said, well, what the hell.
Well, and there's some of that. There's some of that too. We've got about a minute left before we got to take a break, but traditionally the midterms after a presidential election, the other team wins. That's just traditionally how it's gone. And so they were favored to win anyways.
The Senate now looks like it's in play, and it wasn't.
Well, these are all self-inflicted wounds.
You knew the House was going to flip.
Yeah.
Traditionally, it always does, right? But the Senate is there's now. I think that the Republicans are still favored to hold the Senate, but it's a favorable year for them.
Yeah.
But there's some. I know, like there's a guy in Maine that's making a lot of traction against Susan Collins. That That Texas thing is a wild card.
Texas
man.
it really is insane right now. But Matt, you're right. It's the economy, stupid, and if gas prices are high, people on election day they vote with their wallet.
Mm-hmm.
They really do. And if they're continuing to pay more at the grocery store when they said it wasn't supposed to be that way, if they just stopped off at the local speedway and paid $5.50 for gas, if they paid $4,
you'd be making fun of my electric car then, won't you?
Well, yeah, pretty much. If they're doing that, then any incumbent, it's going to be rough on that federal level for incumbents. Now you got someplace like Northwest Indiana where you get the straight ticket voters that some incumbents are just going to get in because that's how it's designed. But for some of these the swing states, some of these battleground races, it's not good for incumbents.
I think that as Matt said, it might already be written. I mean, if you look at that LNG plant that got bombed in Qatar, I mean they're talking about 3 to 5 years, and again, the nitrogen. I remember we had this a few years ago because I just was looking up this stuff. Helium. You remember when there was a helium shortage?
You couldn't get balloons anywhere.
Right. So that thing does 14% of the global helium production as a byproduct of whatever they're doing there. So good luck having balloons.
Man,
at
I
your
wish
kids'
it would
thing.
affect some of the local politicians. Why can't we get rid of them? But oh well.
I'm here to stay, but for right now, we're going to take a break. Hey,
You're one of the good ones, Bob. We like
thanks,
you.
Matt, for calling in. Appreciate it. You have a great day.
Hey, one last thing, Matt. Purdue, huge number. What do you say for the Purdue people? We're looking at this one was Queens University. They're laying 25.5 right now.
I can't give 25.5 with Purdue, knowing their tournament history. They're going to win, but I don't think they'll cover.
All right, you heard it from Matt Maloney. And come join all of us. I'll invite all you guys. Joe, Bob, Matt, y'all, come see me at Doc's Smokehouse. I'll be there all afternoon. We'll watch some games.
Where's that located?
Half price wings, 1420 Calumet Avenue.
What do I need to do to get the mac and cheese brisket named after me?
A lot more than
brisket
you're doing.
mac and cheese.
I don't know. Do you have
the grilled cheese?
No, you guys don't have mac and cheese and like brisket. What? I'm not.
You know what? You come in, I'll make you one, and if it's good, we'll put it on the menu.
Okay.
All right.
But
says the guy who won't put nachos on the menu. All right, it is 8:29 in the region. We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll come back for our last segment here. Do we have Veterans Views at 9? Okay, we've got Veterans Views at 9. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back here on WJOB 1230 AM, 104.7 FM.
Time at Albert's. Oh, looky here! Oh, those are gonna fetch a pretty penny.
But who's gonna buy them from us?
I'll buy that gold from you.
What did you say?
I said I'll buy that gold from you, and I'll give you top dollar.
That sounds great.
It's gold rush time. We will see you at Albert's.
For over 140 years, the Central Midwest Carpenters have built our communities in Northwest Indiana. Are you ready to join the effort? We have long-term work, competitive pay, and the best benefits in the industry. We pride ourselves on innovative training and commitment to worksite safety. Earn as you learn as an apprentice. A solid career built on a solid legacy. For more info, go to carpenters.com.
Are you searching for a college where you belong? Calumet College of St. Joseph wants to know you and give you the support you need to succeed. Are you worried about how you'll pay for your degree? 95% of our students receive financial aid, including scholarships and grants. Need some extra help with your classes? You'll benefit from our small class sizes, free tutoring, internship planning, faculty mentors, and so much more. Come experience our accepting, supportive college family for yourself. Schedule your campus visit and apply at ccsj.edu.
Planting a tree, installing a fence, whether your project is big or small, NIPSCO reminds you to know what's below and contact 811 at least 2 full business days before doing any digging so that utility companies can mark the location of their underground lines. Contacting 811 is free and it's the law. Avoid possible penalties, costly repairs, or injuries. DIY or a pro, safety is in your hands. Every dig, every time.
Welcome back to Region Rundown with Brett and Bob here on WJOB 1230 AM 104.7 FM in the Stratton Van Til Studios in rustic Hammond, Indiana. Live on the YouTubes. We're going to go about, 10, 15 more minutes, try to clear out a couple of these callers, and then Brett and I got to get to work. So here we go. Next caller, you are on the air. What you have for us today?
Hey, I just want to give you guys a friendly reminder. Don't forget, WJOB has their best programming of the year during the NCAA tournament because they play the games from the Westwood One feed all day and all night long.
Well, thank you for that. We should have recorded that so we could have just played your voice every commercial break.
And if you want to go old school, if you want to go old school, you can bring your AM radio and earphones and listen to the radio call while you watch them at Doc's eating half-price wings, 1420 Calumet Avenue.
We're just going to get a
You remember that?
Well, I would have been there late last night, but your boy said the kitchen's we're getting ready to shut things down. And
was that you that
called?
called?
Slow, so I know you guys had to go.
Was that you?
Huh?
Was that you that called at like 5 till 9? I heard
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, you should have just texted me. I told you I was there all night. No, we had a real good crowd.
I don't make everybody stay though.
No. Well, and that's we close at 9, and I told everybody. I said, listen, there's late games. If we've got a crowd for one of these late games, we're staying open if there's people here. But which game was it? There was one that ended, and I can't remember which one it was, but it was probably 8:30, and we've been pretty crowded all day. At 8:30,
TCU game.
It may have been. I have trouble keeping up with which one because I'm always walking around and just seeing clips of them.
Yeah.
Whatever game it was, it ended and everybody just got up and left.
Yeah.
And we went from half full at 8:30 to empty at 5 till. And I'm like, I'm not going to keep them around.
Yeah, that's a great. I mean, you couldn't look away from that one. It was amazing.
We will be,
and then to see Duke on the ropes for a while.
But we are open because we're open till 10 on Friday and Saturday, so we'll automatically be open. And again, if there's a crowd, what that Purdue game's like earlier though, isn't it? One of the late games,
6:30 start time.
Yeah, 6:30. Yeah, Kansas Cal Baptist. Is that your pick, Semino? Is that Matt? Yeah, Cal Baptist game is 8:45. We'll have that on. Furman, UConn. Miami, Missouri, probably a pretty cool game to watch. That's those 7-10s are always fun.
I got Missouri in that one.
Yeah, the 7-10s and the 5-12s. The 5-12 is statistically the most common upset since they've been in a 64-team format. Almost every year, there's at least one 12 seed that beats a 5 seed. Happened yesterday with was it Wisconsin, right? Joe.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, I want to see St. John's come out and start destroying every team that comes on the court after they got probably the worst bracketing positioning I've ever seen. So
I'll
Nothing
tell
like
you,
rooting for Patino. 7 years old, dating a 40-year-old woman. I love that guy.
we have a big AAU tournament. This is before I had Docs, and they still have the tournament in Milwaukee. I had opened the Marriott, and I still know Rick Barnes. I sent him a text the other day. When he was at Texas, I did a lot of when I worked at the steakhouse. We did all of Texas recruiting meals. So the football team, basketball team, they'd always bring coach in. I got to know Coach Barnes. He's a Southern guy. He was an assistant at Alabama early in his career, and he always made fun of me. He's like, I can't believe you went to Auburn and they put you in a job where you have to count money. But he was in town. He was in town and was staying at the Marriott for this AAU tournament, and ended up at our bar. One of the coolest moments of my career. Sitting at my bar, he brought in Bob Huggins, Calipari, and Patino.
No way.
And the four of them sat.
Oh, wow.
The four of them sat at our bar for probably 3.5 hours. The girl that was bartending was like, "These guys just won't leave." And I was like,
who was there?
"You can go home. I will pour the rest of their
Yeah.
drinks." And the funny thing was, there was another guy sitting there who was probably old guy, but he was a scout for the Yankees, and he played with Mantle. And I didn't hear those guys talk about basketball at all. All they wanted to do was ask this guy about playing for the Yankees. But really cool. Patino, all four of those guys, even Bob Huggins, was really, really nice guys. And I thought I'm like, how often are you sitting across from four Hall of Fame coaches? And I like Rick. I think Tennessee is I got Tennessee going to the Sweet 16. Rick is a good coach, and I think he's got an athletic team there. That's going to be one that I'm watching today.
Okay, I dropped Mad Mac, by the way.
Sorry about that.
On purpose, we have 4 callers.
Okay, let's go.
Okay, well,
5 minutes.
Rapid fire. Rapid fire.
You guys get a question, and then I'm dropping you.
One question, and then you're out.
Good morning.
One and out
It's
Fridays.
not really a quick question. Morning. Hey, this is Phil Hernandez with the electricians. The only reason I'm calling is to let everyone, your listeners, know that we're having our spring blood drive with American Red Cross here at 7200 Mississippi Avenue. We'll have the games on while you're giving blood. Unfortunately, you're going to have to bring your own craft beer, but I just want to let the listeners know that we'll be here from 9 to 7.
Hey, that's fantastic.
Cool.
Thank you guys for doing that. Another great thing from the labor in Lake County. We
skilled labor.
appreciate that.
Thank you very much. Next
Thank you.
caller.
Next caller. Good morning. You are on the air. One question.
Hey, Brent, you might be a better fit politically and physically on that Tuesday show.
Oh, that's
what's the
rough.
Tuesday show?
That's the.
Well, let me ask you this, Brent. In your liberal way, did you applaud that Iranian wrestler being hung in public?
No, I don't support Iran in any way. See, that's the thing. I can question our motives for attacking them without supporting Iran. Iran's a brutal dictatorship, has been as long as I've been alive. I remember when they took all of our hostages. I'm not saying that Iran isn't bad. I'm glad they killed the Ayatollah. Now, but what I don't want is to pay $6 a gallon for gasoline when we didn't have to.
Okay. Sorry, I forgot that I dropped them. Next call. Good morning. You are on the air. One question.
Take your pick. The Bow Wow Act, why did Democrats vote against it and hurting dogs? Or is Netanyahu really dead with all the AI out there?
I went down that Netanyahu rabbit hole the other day. There's some weird stuff.
Four-finger BB and six-finger BB. They had something that was hot and heavy on the internet the other day about him talking about Jesus in some way. And the first question that I asked in the group thread was, is this even real?
No.
I mean, they
can't tell.
Yeah. You can't tell. So who knows where he's at? And that is, to use a phrase that Chuck always says, that then is the question, what can you really believe when you see something on the internet? And by internet, I mean even TV. I mean, they can supervise. I may try this over the weekend, take a clip of this show, and I bet you we can insert anybody here saying whatever we want.
Oh, I've got a relative in our family. We have an active college football group chat because most of us went to Auburn he's kind of the black sheep that is an Alabama fan, and every game I would send him. He's also a giant Trump supporter. I would send him a message from Donald Trump talking to him, talking smack about Alabama, and it would make him so mad. But the video, like, I can't remember which app I was using, but it's like Trump sitting at the Oval Office at the desk, and you type in what you want him to say,
and he'll say it,
and it looks like he's sitting there saying it.
We've got something similar for Jed here. True story. True story. Okay, well, next caller. We got one last caller right here.
All right, good morning, caller. You're on there.
Good morning. Veterans Views. Hello?
Hello.
Good morning. Yeah, what's your question? We're going fast here.
Yeah, front door. Can you open it?
Is somebody at the door?
Oh, yeah. All right, Joe, go.
I'll go do that.
All right, sounds good.
Can we get a ring camera here?
We do, but there's operationally they're still working on a handful.
I think that's our folks from the Veterans Views getting ready to come in.
It is.
Probably.
It is. So, we've got Joe walked out of the room, so we are. We can do and say whatever we want for the next few minutes till he comes in and shuts off. After I leave here, I'm heading over to. This is a free plug. Because I'm heading over to Moffitt's barbershop.
Yeah,
I've run
I'll see you
into
there.
too.
You know what? I might have to hit that.
Yeah, I'm going there too. We're going. Spring break is next week, and I need to look as decent as I can. But heading over to Moffitt's barbershop, they didn't pay me to say that. I love them.
We both patronize Moffitt's. Great barbershop on Ridge Road.
Especially
support
if
local business.
If you're looking for, again, something local, something, It's got a great feel to it. It's not commercial. It's pretty good. So, but we're doing that. And tonight is Docs is having these specials. You probably heard it 400 freaking times already. Beck and all the girls are going out, so it's just Liam and I. So we may head over.
See me.
He's got a thing for the turkey at Docs.
Yeah, I'll make sure we have turkey for Liam. And while we're mentioning supporting local business, I have to say. One of my favorite times of the year at Docs, we're doing. We normally don't do this on Fridays, but with the NCAA tournament, we open early, 11 o'clock today. First game tips at 11:15. We got great beer specials, or whatever you want to drink. But the big draw is the half price wings, both chicken and pig wings. If you never had our pig wings, it's a unique thing, and they're really popular. We'll have those going all day. We do have prime rib at. Probably will be out about 5 o'clock.
Sounds good.
From another family business here in Hammond, Beats by Lynn's. We only serve their beef. Best prime rib you'll have. We smoke it to a medium rare. It's delicious. But great day to come watch basketball. I got to run a couple errands. We open at 11. I should be there shortly after that, and I'll be there the rest of the day.
All right, everyone.
Come see me.
I wanted a Monday show at Monday. Chuck and I will be doing the show. We were voted second favorite show on the YouTube poll, which is garbage because I just think that poll was garbage. It was fake news. But I will say at 7 o'clock we've got Lieutenant Governor Michael Beckwith coming on Monday. But most importantly, at 7:30 and at 8, the weather will be brought to you by Liam.
Oh yeah,
he's coming in to do the weather. It's his spring break, so he's off.
Yeah, it'll be an improvement over Jed, no matter what he does.
And he's been dying to come in here, so I said, yeah, sure, why not? Again, nobody tells me no. So
one more thing, somebody did ask in the chat, and I typed a response and just hit enter. But if you do want to watch Semi-State on the Heartland Sports Network, formerly known as Jed TV, I've got like 3 TVs that are internet only TVs that we won't have March Madness on that play trivia and other stuff. I'm happy to put whatever game you want for Semi-State on, and you can watch local and national basketball all at the same time. Doc Smokehouse, 1420 Calumet Avenue in Indiana's favorite, fastest growing, best place to live in the region.
The heart of the heartland.
The heart of the heartland, Dyer, Indiana.
Wow.
All right, well, as we wrap this up, we will be followed by the award-winning Veterans Views, as well as Saturday early morning, 10 a.m. You'll be hearing the Region Bandstand before the games get on the radio. So